From Anaheim Stadium, it's the Seattle Seahawks versus the Los Angeles Rams. Brought to you by Budweiser. Beechwood aged with that clean, crisp taste. This Bud's for you. By Honda, who invites you to experience the CRXSI, 1988 Motor Trend Import Car of the Year at your local Honda dealer. And by Zenith. The quality goes in before the name goes on.
Good afternoon, everyone. Don Cricky with Bob Trumpy at Anaheim Stadium, where today the Seahawks go against the Rams. The Rams are 3-0 career against Seattle. It's the one team in the National Football League Seattle has never beaten. Seattle started the day in a tie with Denver in the AFC West. Denver was beaten already, so Seattle at the moment has a half-game lead, depending on the outcome of this one. The Rams started the day one game back of New Orleans along with San Francisco, but the Saints were a winner, or they're winning fairly big over the LA Raiders. They look to go 7-1. So it's the most important game for both these contenders in their divisions. Kelly Stauffer, the young quarterback, now making 3 starts for the Seattle Seahawks. He looked very sharp last week in a 1-point loss to New Orleans. Greg Bell is a key guy, Trump, for the Los Angeles Rams, who like to run it.
Yeah, last week the Rams got no running against San Francisco. Greg Bell, leading rusher in the NFC, has got to get in gear because John Robinson likes that tailback yardage.
Rams will kick it off. Lansford's into the ball and hits it downfield. And it is taken at the 1-yard line. Randall Morris turns to the outside. He is across the 20, puts a move on a tackler. Here's a marker coming in. There could be an illegal block against Seattle, as Randall Morris takes the ball out across the 25-yard line to the 27, where James Washington, a rookie defensive back coming down to cover on special teams, made the stop for the Rams.
You called it. Illegal block in the back by the Seahawks.
So the Seahawks will start out at a good field position inside their 20.
And it's first down.
And Ben Dreif is the referee today. It is a perfect day in Southern California. Temperature in the 70s as you see the mark off. And now the starting offensive unit for the Seahawks with Stauffer at quarterback, Kurt Warner and John L. Williams, their strong runners. Largent, the all-time record setter at wide receiver, along with rookie Brian Blades, who caught 8 last week against New Orleans. Tice is the tight end. Veteran offensive line as Stauffer, first-year player from Colorado State, gets set to go on offense and gives to Kurt Warner. Near side run, ball on the field, and the Rams might have it. So an early break is a huge one, and it goes to the Los Angeles Rams as Kurt Warner was stripped to the ball, turning upfield. And coming off the bottom of the pile looks to be Michael Stewart, who is starting at strong safety, number 23. Vince Newsom, the regular strong safety, out for the season after suffering a neck injury last week.
Don, it did not look as if anybody really hit Kurt Warner. Watch what happens. That ball just slips out of his hand. He's carrying it on the right side. I don't believe Stewart had anything to do with that fumble whatsoever except to recover it. Warner, normally very sure-handed.
So the Rams get a big break early in the game, their first possession. And they'll start at the 14-yard line of Seattle. Everett, at quarterback, looking to throw. He's looking into the end zone, lets a rip to the far corner, and he overthrows his target, Henry Ellard, who's been a hot receiver with 20 catches in the last 3 games. The offensive unit for the Los Angeles Rams keyed around Everett having a big season. Greg Bell and Buford McGee are his runners. Aaron Cox, a rookie from Arizona State, has been a standout. Henry Ellard has also done very well at wide receiver. Damone Johnson starts at tight end, although they'll go to Holohan often, the former San Diego Charger. Offensive line is one of the best. It has allowed only 13 sacks this season in the first 7 games. 2nd and 10, and they go to the run, and this is Greg Bell. Sprinting to the corner, he turns it up and gets down to the 5-yard line. Greg Bell will be 2 yards short of a first down, 6 yards away from the end zone as cornerback Patrick Hunter knocked him down. Trump?
You'll watch the double guard pull of the offense. Actually, it's the guard and the tackle. That's Duval Love and Jackie Slater do an excellent job of getting out in front. And then Greg Bell, even though listed as a running back, basically fullback size at about 5'10 and 210. It's around the corner. John Robinson first and foremost. He wants that tailback yardage.
They have a more complex and diverse passing game this year, the Los Angeles Rams, with Ernie Zampese, longtime offensive coordinator at San Diego when they led the league in offense. He now runs the offense of the Rams. Handoff goes to Bell. They go right back to the run. Great trap blocking up front by the Rams, and Greg Bell takes it down close to the goal line. Did not get in, but he did. Get a first down for the Rams. Bosworth on the tackle for Seattle.
And one of the things I think the fans will notice almost immediately is the tremendous size disparity between the offensive line of the Rams and the defensive line of the Seahawks. They stay with that 34 defense, and you see these big guys blowing Nash out, blowing Jacob Green out. A nice block on Bosworth. No one touches Greg Bell until he gets about 5 yards past the line of scrimmage. So now it's first and goal.
55 Bosworth playing with a very badly injured left shoulder. He can't hit with it. He'll tackle only with his right shoulder. Watch him. Handoff goes to Bell over the top. He might be in. Linesman says yes, he is. And so the Rams capitalized early on the first play from scrimmage. A fumble by Kurt Warner of Seattle, recovered by Michael Stewart of Los Angeles. And then the Rams take it in as Chuck Knox of Seattle, who coached this Los Angeles team to 5 consecutive NFC Western titles before going to Buffalo, looks on in dismay. An early break, and the Rams make it happen.
That was Greg Bell's 9th rushing touchdown of the season. And frankly, it was very easy for the Rams to get on the board.
Greg Bell did it all from
14 yards on that drive. The extra point is good.
Lansford hits the extra point up and good. And so with 13:02 to play in the first quarter, the Los Angeles Rams go up on their home board first with a 7-0 lead.
Watch the great push once again by the offensive line. Mitz 67 blown out. Nash 72 blown out. This offensive line is just too big for the Seattle defensive line. The Seattle defensive line is excellent when they can trick them, run around blocks, but straight ahead, especially with this Rams offensive line, a real decided advantage for the Rams.
They have a real problem stopping the run. 24th in the NFL in run defense are the Seattle Seahawks. They've allowed 4.7 yards per carry to the opposition. Last week, as the Ram fans know, they were badly outtrained on the ground. They only got 42 yards against San Francisco as a team. Roger Craig of the 49ers by himself got 190.
You know, you can't give John Robinson too much credit. After Dickerson, that trade that's going to produce 10 draft choices for them this year and next year, he's made some slight alterations in the Los Angeles Rams offensive design, defensive design, and here's the consistent pattern for the Rams. 7 of the last 9 seasons 1,000-yard rushers, and Greg Bell is certainly en route to make it 8 out of 10. This team always runs the ball and runs the ball very well.
Rams kick off a second time, and again it's Randall Morris for Seattle as the wedge forms in front of him. Morris with a return right. This time is going to be taken down inside the 20. No markers down, so the Seahawks go on offense a second time from their 19-yard line.
Jack Delpino that time on the tackle. He's a fullback, H-back, but one of their best special teams players. You'll see a lot of him today in a lot of different formations. Excuse me, I said Jack Delpino, make that Robert Delpino, excuse me. Number 39.
He was a 5th-round draft choice, number 39 from Missouri. And Delpino has been a big force so far. Robert Delpino averaging over 4 yards a carry, and as you see there, a very fine special teams player. Now the Seahawks try to get on track. End up to John L. Williams, and he is stuck in hard by Doug Reed, number 93, defensive end. We'd like to welcome those of you who have been watching New England at Buffalo, the Bills winning 23-20. We'd like to welcome those of you who have just been watching the Pittsburgh Steelers beat the Denver Broncos 39-21. As Gary Anderson broke his own record of 5 field goals with 6 for today, leading the Pittsburgh Steelers.
That score by the Los Angeles Rams, a result of a Kurt Warner fumble. It was a 20-yard scoring drive. Rams on the board first.
Don Criqui with Bob Trumpy. We have 12 minutes and 14 seconds to play in the first quarter. Stoff looks to throw, triggers it up the middle, and a nice defensive play. It's intercepted. The ball is tipped over to Mel Owens, who's been out with an injury, and the veteran linebacker picks it off Eckern might have tipped it. Mel Owens got it, and the Rams force turnovers in Seattle's first 2 possessions and are in danger now, the Seahawks, of getting knocked out of this one in the first round.
Ball is intended for Steve Largent. Stopper is looking at him all the way. The linebacker drops back in coverage. It bounces off of the linebacker's helmet. 55, Eckern is the guy that it bounces off of, right into the hands of Mel Owens. Boy, to this point, you talk about bounces going the home team way. The fumble bounces right to a defensive back, and that ball bounces right to the linebacker.
Watch Greg Bell right up the gut again. That's how they got their yardage. That is Greg Bell right up the middle. This time he's fumbled very hard, and the Seahawks might have it right back.
They got it.
They do indeed. The play is live. Officials running with the ball. Melvin Jenkins on the fly. Melvin Jenkins, the left cornerback, takes it all the way back, and we'll see where they spotted out of bounds. Here is a late flag after he was knocked out of bounds.
That's all legal, and that ball is on the ground. Anyone can pick it up. Melvin Jenkins,
a 60-yard return from if it goes.
He was very, very opportunistic. He saw the ball lying right there on the ground. Picked it up. It's legal.
So the game is not yet 4 minutes old, barely 3 minutes old, and we've had 3 turnovers already. Rams lead at 7-0, capitalizing on the first one by Seattle.
All right, now this is after the fumble recovery, so from the spot where he went out of bounds.
Illegal block in the back, 10-yard penalty. And
Ben Dreith is saying illegal block in the back. Now watch what happens. Good penetration by 58 Bruce Schultz. The ball is on the ground. It's picked up by Moyer. Lateral to Patrick Hunter, and the race starts. Actually, I think if Hunter stops for just a minute here, cuts back inside, he goes for 6 points. But there you see Tony Woods, 57, I believe, is the man who shoved the Los Angeles Ram defender in the back, but the Hawks have the ball back.
So the Seahawks on consecutive plays lose it, get it back, and now they go from midfield. Handoff, and Kurt Warner breaks into open field inside the 40. And Warner is down to the 32-yard line. Nicely done by the Seahawks as they run the ball well, and we like to welcome those of you who've been watching Cincinnati and Houston, where the Bengals today prevailed and went to their 7th win against 1 loss with a 44-21 victory. 18-yard run by Kurt Warner Trump.
Good delay handoff by the Seattle Seahawks. This is a very strange defense that the Rams like to run. It's standard now, 34. But they'll use a defense where Giroux, their middle linebacker, becomes the nose tackle.
Alvin Wright is the man rushing from the nose tackle at the moment as they switch back. And here's a swing pass going to Kurt Warner. Quickly to the outside. He's inside the 30-yard line of the Rams and out of bounds at about the 27. Kurt Warner comes into the game with 463 yards rushing. He's caught 11 balls. He scored 6 touchdowns. His per carry average is down this year to 3.7. Career, he's 4.3.
He's the man, though, for the Seahawks.
He is indeed.
The Seahawks with Chuck Knox talk about quality rushing yardage. And he gets it inside and outside, as well as being an excellent receiver.
Knox and Robinson, the 2 winningest coaches in Ram history. Match today. Both believing in ball control. They can't score when you got it. Well, that was almost not the case early as Kurt Warner runs again. On a 2nd down play, he is very close to a 1st down. He had to advance the ball just outside the 21-yard line. He's going to be maybe close enough for a measurement.
And to this point, it's very obvious to see that the Seattle Seahawks' choice is to run at the corner of this defense. An excellent job by John L. Williams, 32 on 54 Wiltshire. And Kurt Warner kind of tricks himself. One move too many, and he slips and falls. Help from Michael Stewart. But again, a nice pickup.
Seattle coming off a very disappointing loss a week ago to New Orleans when the Saints prevailed 20-19. Winning margin, blocked field goal, and subsequent return of 58 yards by David Waymer for a touchdown late in the 3rd quarter. And the Rams gave the 49ers some golden opportunities last week with fumbles at the 15 and 18-yard lines of San Francisco to stop scoring drives. 3 turnovers if you've joined us late. Don Criqui with Bob Trumpy. You can see the Seahawks were extremely effective last year converting the 3rd down. Now they come to 3rd and less than 1. I set. Warner, the I back, gets the ball, and Kurt Warner is going to get ahead for the 1st down. Getting in behind the right side of his line, Mike Wilson, the right tackle, Brian Millard, the right guard. Mark Giroux made the stop, inside linebacker, along with the starting strong safety, Michael Stewart. Rams lead the National Football League in sacks with 38 through 7 games, and they are on target to break the all-time single-season record set by the '84 Chicago Bears when they had 72 sacks.
Now watch this defense. Here you got Giroux, the middle linebacker, down as the nose tackle. They're basically just 2 defensive line. There's Giroux, 59. Now, this is what Kelly Stopper has got to recognize of the run.
It's the Eagle defense, and the Seahawks attack the Eagle with the run. And again, they go to Warner. Outside linebacker Mike Wiltshire, number 54, made the tackle for Los Angeles at about the 18-yard line.
The strange thing about this defense, Don, is that there are 5 linebackers in the game. They used 2 defensive linemen. Giroux was a nose tackle at the University of Washington, but he's a middle linebacker. And it's a defense that Fritz Shermer and John Robinson have come up with here in Los Angeles. And there now, you see there's no nose tackle whatsoever. Now he moves down in the line.
2nd down and 8 comes up for Stauffer and the Seahawks. They go right back to the run. John L. Williams takes it ahead to about the 15-yard line. We're in the first quarter, 9 minutes and 4 seconds to play in it. The Rams lead 7-0 on a 1-yard touchdown dive by Greg Bell after the Seahawks fumbled the ball on their first play from scrimmage. Kurt Warner lost it at his 14. Stewart recovered for the Rams, and 5 plays later, it was taken in by Greg Bell for the game's only score. This drive started at the 50 after the Rams were intercepted on a tip ball or fumble ball.
Now this is a very interesting down here for the Seahawks. Stopper's in the shotgun, and look at the defense. There's 9 guys at the line of scrimmage, within 5 yards of the line of scrimmage.
Scanzi in motion. Here's the big rush. Here's a triggered ball. Man is open. Scanzi can't get to the ball in the corner of the end zone. So the Rams came with a hard rush. 4 people coming hard at Kelly Stauffer, but the ball was too far. Good pass blocking on the play by Seattle, and now the field goal unit comes out front for the Seahawks.
Jerry Gray was the man in coverage, and what this defense is designed to do is to get pressure from the outside. Kevin Green and Mike Wiltshire. And you see Wiltshire on the bull rush. He's right into Mattis, and Mattis does an excellent job of holding him out. But that's what you'll see all day long. That freak defense and those outside linebackers rushing like gangbusters.
Norm Johnson having a very good year, 11 for 14 on field goals. He's 6 of 8 outside the 40. And Johnson drills it up and wide left. So a 34-yarder by a former UCLA Bruin is wide to the left and no good. And Seattle misses its first scoring opportunity. With 8 minutes and 20 seconds to play in the first quarter, the Rams remain in front 7-0.
Last week, of course, that blocked kick by New Orleans, even though it's not Norm Johnson's fault, can still affect the kicker, and he may have been trying to kick that ball a little too quick.
We'd like to welcome those of you who have been watching the New Orleans Saints and the LA Raiders. New Orleans a 20-6 victor today, so the Saints go to 7-1 at the halfway point and put the pressure more and more on the Rams and the 49ers. They're each a game and a half back at the moment, depending on the outcome of their 8 games of the season. Everett throws an open man strike. Henry Allard catches the ball and gets out to the 35-yard line. He was in the middle of the zone coverage. Linebacker Tony Woods got him, but he did it 15 yards downfield. Henry Allard's been hot. You see what he's done in the recent weeks.
His 33rd catch of the season. Yes, he's kind of come as a surprise to a lot of people around the league, but not to the Los Angeles Rams. Excellent deep speed, and that time good recognition of the coverage. Found a dead spot in the zone. Everett with plenty of time. Easy completion.
Everett, big and rangy, 6'5". He's down to 212, 12 pounds lighter than he played at a year ago. Seahawks quickly shut down the run. Greg Bell got the ball on a first down carry from his 35-yard line. Jacob Green, the left end, was the man who made the stop. Jacob Green, Joe Nash, and Jeff Bryant across the defensive front of the Seahawks. Schultz and Bosworth, the left side linebackers, both playing hurt. Schultz has not practiced for 3 weeks, can only play in games because of an arch injury. Bosworth with a troubled left shoulder. Wyman and Woods are the right side backers. Everett with a long ball arm now spreads his receivers out, 2 to the right, 1 to the left. It's 2nd down and 10 from the 35, and he goes to the run, and Greg Bell, looking for room, is caught by Joe Nash.
Joe Nash makes the tackle, but the play is made by Bruce Schultz. Now, what it appears the the Seahawks are doing is they're rushing their linebackers across the line of scrimmage to stop the run. And Joe Nash caught Greg Bell on the cutback, but Schultz was there to take on that blocker quick. And Greg Bell had no place to run. Good play, Bruce Schultz.
You see, a veteran from the University of Texas, Bruce Schultz, backing the line to left outside. It is 7-0. Los Angeles with the ball in a 7-0 lead on Greg Bell's 1-yard touchdown dive, culminating a 14-yard drive after a fumble recovery. Throw and a catch. Beautifully done by the Rams out to the 48-yard line of Seattle. Henry Allard, the speedster from Fresno State. Down and out pattern, good for 14 yards as they are really in sync.
Melvin Jenkins was the man in coverage, and there's too much room. This is man-to-man. You can see the cornerback looking right at the offensive man, Allard. That's too big a cushion. And Jim Everett, with a real strong arm, can throw that out like the best quarterbacks you can find in the game, so that's easy pickings for the Rams.
A year ago, through 7 games, Everett had 5 touchdown passes and 10 interceptions. This year, he has been extremely effective as the Rams go back to the run on first down. This year, through 7 games, Jim Everett has 16 touchdown passes, just 5 interceptions. Greg Bell, running hard, a 5th-year player from Notre Dame, a former #1 draft choice of Buffalo.
And so far, just about everything the Rams are running is working. Greg Bell again at the corner, cuts inside Bosworth, 55. Schultz coming all the way across the field, makes the tackle, but that's after a gain of 5. He only had 28 yards rushing last week, so obviously off to a better start this week.
6:30 for the season and an excellent 4.6 per carry average. Everett,
Allard.
long ball. Allard is there. One of the best catches you'll see. Absolute beauty on the football field. Henry Allard goes high in the air, a perfect timing pattern. That gun arm of Jim Everett lofting the ball before he makes his break.
This time Jenkins is in zone. Allard with that good speed turns Jenkins around. Watch that second foot. In.
Boy, that is
nice catch. 19 yards. This Everett's got I think a secret arm to a lot of people in the NFL. He's a very nimble quarterback for his size, stands very tall, and can throw that out with the best of them.
Jim Everett now in his 3rd year from Purdue. He was the 3rd player drafted in 1986 behind Bo Jackson and Tony Casillas. But he wouldn't play for Houston, sat out 5 games, and then came to the Rams in a trade. Tony Woods makes the stop on Greg Bell as the big hits downfield get the ball, get the Rams in position. There's some of the final. Cincinnati, a surprise team, now 7-1. New Orleans 7-1. The Giants come back to beat Atlanta. Minnesota destroys Tampa Bay. Buffalo rallies late to beat New England. Dallas over Philadelphia in the 4th quarter. Buddy Ryan will have less to say if that holds up. Jets with a 3-point lead on Miami. The Browns and the Cardinals scoreless at Phoenix. Washington up on Green Bay. 7-0. Rams had the lead, looking for more. Long ball downfield. Allard goes for it. Good coverage by Jenkins. Melvin Jenkins, number 24, moved into the starting role at left corner when a former #1 draft choice Terry Taylor was on 30-day suspension. Jenkins has played very well, a former standout in the Canadian Football League.
Zone, watch Jenkins. He's looking in at the quarterback, reads the break, and Everett is just throwing this ball away. Jenkins is the guy who is going to be, he's going to be covering Henry Allard all day long. So he's got to give him, he can't give him as much cushion as he's given him in this first quarter, Don.
Henry Allard comes in motion, number 80. Everett goes over the middle, trying it to his tight end, and Holohan is stuck but good. First he's caught by defensive back, the free safety Eugene Robinson, and then Bosworth got him with his good shoulder.
Holohan, probably the best hands on the Los Angeles Rams team. He's just running a little crossing pattern. And you can look at the Seattle defense. They've got 7 defensive backs in there. Robinson, good coverage, and then Bosworth worth the hit. It's incomplete. Field goal kicker on.
Lansford. He is 8 for 11 this year. This will be a 40-yarder. Pete Holohan is his holder, the man who was just splattered after he tried to catch the last ball. Kick has just enough, and it's got the range. And so the Los Angeles Rams extend their lead to 10-0 with 4 minutes and 43 seconds left to play in the first quarter. The Rams kick it off for a 3rd time when we come back. 10-0 Rams at Anaheim in the first quarter. Don Criqui with Bob Trumpy. Trump, you can't win the ball game if you can't hold the ball. 10 minutes into the game, the Rams have picked up 2 turnovers.
Yeah, rather unusual, too, for the Seattle Seahawks because they're normally very, very careful with that football. And especially when you consider it's Kurt Warner that had that first turnover. Now it's so difficult for the Seahawks to get back in sync.
This kickoff is sponsored by Budweiser, the king of beers. Lansford kicking it off for a third time. Randall Morris running it back for a third time. He gets an open track up the middle of the field and takes the ball out to the 36-yard line. And so, the Seahawks try again. With the Rams opening up an early 10-0 lead with 4:32 to play in the first quarter. The young quarterback Stauffer will be set to work when we come back.
Gail Gardner in New York at Joe Robbie Stadium. The Jets winless in 3. The Dolphins looking for their 4th straight victory. Dan Marino, 45 yards to Mark Clayton, who beats rookie cornerback James Hasty. Dolphins lead 7-3. Let's go back to Don and Bob in L.A.
Thank you, Gail. We have a perfect day here, and it certainly has been that for the Rams so far, as they've capitalized on early Seahawk mistakes and have taken a 10-0 lead. Seattle with Stoker at quarterback now as he goes into a split backfield. Williams and Warner to run behind him. Wide out set to either side, and the handoff to John L. Williams. This game could be negated as a penalty markers down at the line of scrimmage. John L. Williams, former Florida Gator. So tough. He doesn't get hit. He hits you if you're a defender. Michael Stewart was not there to knock him out of bounds. It was a 14-yard gain, Trump, but let's see what the call is. The Seahawks seem to think it's against Los Angeles.
Now, I think it's offsides defense. It looked like the defensive end was in the neutral zone. So the 14-yard carry will stand.
Defense, number 54, line up the neutral zone. They declined the
Mike
penalty.
Wiltshire, 54, lined up in the neutral zone. Again, after our conversation last night with Steve Moore, the offensive coordinator of the Seahawks, he's looking for quantity in yards when this team rushes, and especially on first down, because then it gives you so many options, second and third down, when you sit 2nd and 4, 2nd and 5. That first down run, very important for the Seahawks.
And now on first down, they go back to the run, and there's not much there for Kurt Warner. In fact, he did well to lose a yard as he was hemmed in the backfield and dove ahead. Kevin Green, a very aggressive defensive linebacker or defensive end. He is both. Was a walk-on at Auburn University. Now he leads the NFL with 10 sacks.
Now, excuse me, it's hard to question the choice of a superb runner like Kurt Warner, but that time he gave up on the block too easily. That was a trap. He was supposed to run it inside. He cut outside and was shut down for no gain. Actually, a loss of 1.
Might be going to Largent here on 2nd down and 12. Largent set to the near side. No, they go to the run. They single covered Largent on the play, but Stauffer with a pre-call play did not check off and went right to Kurt Warner. They get nothing again. Now they have to throw at 3rd down and 10 coming up.
And now the Rams come with this defense. Now Wiltshire this time right at the corner, that outside linebacker number 54. You see he's coming across there like a defensive end. That's Edwin Bailey, 65, comes out there on the block, doesn't get the job done, and Warner stopped. Now watch the defense that the Rams have.
This is the Rams' cake right here. This is what they like to gabble up. 3rd and long, and the quarterback set back in the shotgun. All-out rush, and Stouffer gets it away. He makes the connection. Nicely done by Scansey, who comes down with the ball. James Washington made the stop, but Paul Scansey, a 6-year veteran, former Husky player at the University of Washington under Don James, makes one of his best plays of the season. However, on penalty markers down in the Seahawk backfield, Trump.
I think that's going to be against the Rams.
Foul, number 23.
Yeah, hit the
that
quarterback
high. That's 15. That's a first down.
Rams that time came with a 6-man rush. Now you've only got 5 offensive linemen to pick up 6. Here's Wiltshire from the outside. And you see 23 Stewart coming from the inside. And Stewart's the one with a shot to the head. And there is the penalty. Very poor choice by Stewart. He's replacing Vince Newman. Stewart has started a few games last year.
Rams in Seattle among the least penalized teams, as you see. Oftentimes, the most penalized teams end up winning Super Bowls, though, like the Bears and the Raiders. Swing pass goes in the flat. John L. Williams takes it upfield, and on a 2nd down play, he is going to be down close to the 24-yard line.
That's a nice tackle.
Stewart did it again. The second-year strong safety from Fresno State. Vince Newsom, a very effective starter, out for the season with a neck injury suffered last week.
Stopper here does an excellent job. He looks downfield and he can't find anybody. Then the alternate receiver is out in the flat. Very good mechanics. Turns his hips, turns his feet, gets it out to John L. Williams. And this is a nice tackle. One-on-one by Stewart. That's a great job. 2nd and 7.
Stoffer is described by his coaches as quiet, unflappable. And he now gives out to Kurt Warner, who has all the moves and uses most of them to get down for a first down to the 15-yard line. Kurt Warner, in his 5th year from Penn State, he missed an entire season after he was injured in '84.
Once again, an excellent job by the offensive line of the Seattle Seahawks. That's just a power play where the tight end blocks down, the tackle blocks down, and the off-guard and tackle pull and lead him up through the hole. He's now got 40 yards on 8 carries, does Kurt Warner.
Rams had the lead, 10-0, with 1 minute and 10 seconds left to play in the first quarter. Right into Wiltshire goes John L. Williams.
Warner missed the block. Wiltshire was right there. Again, those outside guys for the Rams really attack the offense. And see if we can pick up exactly what happened. You see Wiltshire runs right inside of Kurt Warner and is there to make the stuff for a loss of 3. When they're pulling the offensive line to make that block down, they're picking up yards. Wiltshire at 6'3", 245, too big for Warner to block.
Seattle grades out as 24th overall in total offense. Here's a quick out, and Stouffer, as 2 linemen start up, we have 2 heavyweights going at it at about the 28-yard line, and no decision as they're separated before people leave the game. Stopper now has completed 3 of 6 for 16 yards. They want him to throw it hard, Trump. The coaches told us yesterday they don't want to risk any finesse passes that he's not used to yet in this league and risk interception.
Yeah, Chuck Knox thought that he was, to say the least, raw in training camp, and actually the game plan each week helps him because he doesn't have to learn the entire offense, just what you're using this week. Rams take a timeout. They got somebody off the field that they need on the field.
John Robinson shouting out instructions, maybe to an official. He's doing good right now, though. It was a foggy morning in Southern California. Now it's a bright, sunshiny day. The Los Angeles Rams, well aware that they're arch rivals from New Orleans. The leaders in their division, the NFC West, have already won today, beating the Raiders 20-6. So at the moment, the Rams and the 49ers are a game and a half behind New Orleans. Los Angeles jumping out quickly, capitalizing on early Seattle mistakes, and right now Los Angeles has a 10-0 lead with 25 seconds to play in the first quarter. 3rd down and 10, about 14 coming up as Stoffer locks the ball down. Nicely done. The connection is made. Coming down with it is Tommy Kane, a rookie receiver from Syracuse, but the coverage hemmed him in. Kevin Green got him, Trump, and those gain of only about 5 yards.
Down to this point, the Seahawks very, very obviously going with the underneath stuff. They're not trying to get deep. They do not want to have Kelly Stoffer blasted by this Los Angeles Ram defense with all those sacks. You see Kevin Green dropping back. That's total zone. He makes the tackle. The Seahawks still trying to get their feet on the ground with this passing game and understanding exactly what the defensive coverages are.
Rams lead on a 1-yard touchdown dive by Bell and a field goal by Lansford, 10-0. With Bob Trumpy, this is Don Criqui back at Anaheim Stadium where the Seahawks drive has stalled, and now they try a 33-yard field goal attempt as you see the first quarter stats. Rams with just slightly more total yardage, but the Seahawks with 2 turnovers. The Rams had just 1. Johnson has been very effective this season and last. Missed his first field goal attempt from 34 yards. This is a 33-yarder, which he spins up and good. And so with 14:56 to play in the first half, the Seahawks are on the board for the first time, trailing Los Angeles 10-3. We'll be back with the Seahawks kickoff in a moment. Seahawks on the board, a 33-yard field goal by Norm Johnson, and it's now a 10-3 game Los Angeles as Johnson is set to kick it off. Charles White, Robert Del Pino are back. A high spinning kick goes to Del Pino, and he's cautioned by the veteran Charles White. not to bring it back. And now, while we have a moment, let's go to NFL Live in New York. Here's Gail Gardner. Gail?
All right, Don, dramatics at the Vet. The Eagles trailing the Cowboys by 6, 8 seconds left in the game. Randall Cunningham rolling right finds Anthony Toney, 2-yard touchdown pass. Eagles win 24-23. Let's go back to Don and Bob in L.A.
So Randall, too tough to handle, finds a way in a game that I guess the Eagles want more than any other.
You mentioned earlier that Buddy Ryan may not say much. Now what are they saying in Dallas is the question.
Well, if they want it, Buddy will be saying plenty. Can't stop Buddy. Everett throws an out. Perfect strike again. This time it's the rookie, Aaron Cox, coming off the flank. Turning out, it's a first down on a 16-yard gain. You were talking, Trump, about that out pattern. They really have it down.
Watch Everett set up. Very, very light on his feet for a guy his size. Excellent leg strength. Good picture-perfect follow-through on that pass. Right on the money to Aaron Cox. And again, it's Jenkins in the coverage. And there's just too much push in there. Everett, a very, very strong arm. Those cornerbacks got to get up tighter on those receivers, or they'll go to that pattern all day long.
Cox, a real weapon. He's averaging almost 26 yards a catch this season. That was his 13th catch. On first down, the Rams go back to the run, and Greg Bell takes it straight ahead across the 35 to the 38. Got a couple. Miami holding to a 7-6 lead over the Jets. Cleveland's gone in front of the Cardinals, 7-0 at Phoenix. Green Bay, a rising team at 2 straight wins, hanging right in with Washington in the second quarter. The Colts and the Chargers in the second quarter at San Diego. 3-0 Indianapolis. Second down coming up, second down and a long 8. Everett throws, touch pattern, diving for the ball is Damone Johnson, one of his tight ends, and he comes down with the ball for a gain of about 4. All out to the 43-yard line. Moyer, the strong safety, was covering. That was all tight end, that play, a poorly thrown ball.
To this point, Rams offensive line doing a great job of protecting Everett. No one even close. At this point in the game, that ball is thrown out there a little too far for Johnson, but he stretches out and makes the catch. Now third down at about 2 or 3 for the Rams. And last week, big problem in their game against San Francisco. They did not convert a third down.
Let's see what they do now. 3rd and 2. Here's a throw and a catch to Holohan, the sure-handed tight end, stretching it out. He might have lost the ball. But it really was down to the 42-yard line, a 16-yard gain. But trying to get a couple of extra ones, he might have almost lost it.
Vernon Dean on the tackle. Holohan has that thing out in one hand, and it looks like he's reaching for the first down marker. But when he catches the ball, he's got enough for the first down. Not a very smart choice. Watch what happens. He's reaching out with that football, and the ground can't cause the fumble, and that's why they maintain possession. Not a very smart choice by a very smart football player.
But he does get the first down, and now they go to the run. Charles White, who's had limited playing time this year, gets a carry, and straight ahead he goes to the 37-yard line. A gain of about 4 on the play. White gets a round of applause. He had been out on a 30-day suspension.
Watch Brian Bosworth, 55, takes a good hit right on him by number 24, Buford McGee. And Charles White runs right by him. White still trying to get his legs.
Unable to use the left shoulder because of injury. Bosworth striking only with his right. Second down and 6 as Everett takes a look deep, lets her go long. A fly pad into the end zone. He might have a connection. It's good for a touchdown. Running down with the ball was Robert Del Pino, the rookie running back from Missouri. A 37-yard play. The 5th-round draft choice put on the burners, and Everett led him beautifully. A perfect combination, and the Rams extend their lead now to 16-3.
This kid Del Pino, Robert Del Pino, they'll use him as a running back. They'll use him as a blocking back, and he's also considered a wide receiver on this Ram team. That's a very well-run pattern, right straight down the sideline. Tough catch over his shoulder. He makes it look easy for the score.
So Trump, what's going to happen here is that even though they didn't want Stouffer to have to throw a lot, he's going to have to get them back in this as Lansford hits the point after.
From the end zone, once again, this is a very well-run pattern. There's motion by the Rams. Everett does a good job of looking off. Moyer, 21, is in coverage. And And somehow it gets by his hand into the hands of Delpino. 37-yard score.
Today's game is brought to you by Nissan Cars and Trucks, built for the most important race of all, the human race. By Coors Light, there's no slowing down with a silver bullet. It's the right beer now. And by new Prestone Advanced Formula, the antifreeze that guarantees your radiator.
Kelly Stauffer warming up, getting set to get back in there as the Rams have now opened up a 17-3 lead with 12:06 to play. An 80-yard drive in just 6 plays. The connection for the touchdown to the rookie, Robert Delpino, at 37-yard pass. Running it back, and very well, is Randall Morris out to the 25-yard line. Mickey Sutton made the stop. Jim Everett, who's throwing the ball beautifully. This is his 24th NFL start, and he looks like he's been around for 10 years.
The seasoning he shows here is the way he finds that receiver at the last moment and then puts it up there with enough air for Delpino to run under it. He's now thrown, the last 2 weeks, he had thrown 6 touchdown passes, and now his 7th beginning week 3. He has really matured in this last off season under Ernie Zampese. He feels a lot more comfortable throwing the football.
7 TD throws this season for Kelly Stauffer, as now the Seattle Seahawks try to get it back, and a good run is broken off by Kurt Warner. Joe Paterno's Penn State running game is all based on having the great back and getting him to bounce to the outside. And well schooled in that way of running the football. Warner is very quick to cut to the outside where he can use his speed.
Johnny Johnson makes the tackle, and again, it looks to me like the Seahawks are using a check with me system at the line of scrimmage. That is, Kelly Stauffer is trying to read the defense and go to the weak side of the defense, because that sweep, that guard pull sweep, has been very effective for Seattle so far.
Stauffer came in with 59% completions, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Handoff goes to John L. Williams. They like the left side of the Ram defense. As the big Gator bangs at Los Angeles on a first down carry. He's going to be spotted ahead out close to the 46-yard line. First down from.
Again, Johnny Johnson on the tackle, and that time Seahawks came with a double tight end. 88 is John Spagnola. He gets basically a standoff with Kevin Green, and John L. Williams around the corner for a big pickup. Seattle doing a good job here of changing up the looks that the Rams are getting. Now they've got 3 wide receivers and 2 running backs, and no tight end.
Grant Fiesel down over the ball, starting for injured Blair Bush at center. First down and 10 for the Seahawks, who need big plays. Trailing 17-3 second quarter. They come on a slant play. John L. Williams doesn't get much as the Rams cut him down. Inside backer Carl Eckern and outside linebacker Kevin Green combined on the stop.
Now see, this is a tough down. Watch Kevin Green get across that line of scrimmage. Kurt Warner, again, that's a physical mismatch. Warner at about 200 pounds, Green at close to 240, 245. You're asking a running back to do an awful lot if you want him to block Kevin Green all day long.
So the gain was only a yard. It's now second down and 9 for the Seahawks. Natural grass field here at Anaheim, one of the best playing surfaces in the league, as Stauffer dumps it off nicely with the ball, and running hard is John L. Williams. Taking on tacklers, he bangs into Gray. The left side cornerback, Jerry Gray, upended him, but Williams got about 4 more yards.
Nice mix on offense here by Seattle. That time 2 tight ends, and they run Williams like they're going to run that sweep again, only this time he goes right through the line of scrimmage and is the primary receiver. Stauffer puts it right on the money. You see, once again, great job. The linebackers held at the line of scrimmage. It's Giroux, 59. And this is almost a must-scoring drive for Seattle to stay in this game. Down 17-3.
Seattle wanted to run the ball all afternoon because the strength of the Ram defense is the pass rush. They wanted to keep that away from Stauffer. Here's a throw and a catch. Nicely done to the tight end Tice. And now the Seahawks start to move on the right end of Kelly Stauffer. Leroy Urban was covering, but there's a 14-yard gain on the play.
Now, this drive started on their own 25. They've not run the same play twice. And this is a three-step drop over Wiltshire 54. Tice at almost 6'8". He's a very, very easy receiver and a good job of protection. There's Kurt Warner. He gets help from Mattis, who comes out. Excellent job.
You pointed out, Trump, a critical drive for Seattle to get back in the game. They go to Warner again. He bounces outside, this time to left, and turns it upfield for a first down. Running on a 1st and 10 play. Kurt Warner gains 13 yards on the play, and he's down to the 14-yard line.
We've called this kid's number a lot. Johnny Johnson again on the tackle. When the free safety is making the tackles, obviously something's working. See the double full? Mike Wilson, 75. 71, Brian Millard. Kurt Warner stays right on the hip. In this drive now, the play selection, excellent. 12 rushes, 2 passes on first downs, and it's really put the Seattle Seahawks in great shape. Their best drive of the game so far.
And they need a big drive, down 17-3, second quarter. 10:08 to play in the half. Handoff up the middle. Williams takes it right at the Rams, down to about the 12-yard line. Got only 2. Doug Reed, number 93, the defensive left end, a veteran from San Diego State, was the first to get him. So it'll bring up 2nd down and 8. Seahawks fell behind early. First play from scrimmage after the opening kickoff return was fumbled by Kurt Warner. And the Rams quickly took it in, going 14 yards with Bell on the payoff end. Reminder to our viewers that we'll be presenting the Budweiser Most Valuable Player for today's game at the conclusion of the game.
2nd down and 8 now. This is a tough down for Seattle. Play action pass. Look for the tight end again.
They've got 2 tight ends in. 2nd and 8. That's Largent in motion. Stauffer play faking. Here's the rush. He's got time. He throws low. It's caught, but not for very much. Down to the 9-yard line. Warner came back at the ball. One of the patterns they think that Stauffer executes very well, young as he is in the league, is the deep comeback, where he puts the ball downfield to a receiver running a deep pattern coming back at the ball. Very strong of arm, and they want every throw hard.
This is not the spot where you can run that, though. Really, the defense is at an advantage now when you have a quarterback with a strong arm. When it sits on about the 8 or 9 yard line, now you got to run something tricky.
Field condensed down here.
Stauffer's got to be very, very careful with the football here, and they need a score. This team's had big trouble inside the 20.
3rd and 4 for the first down from the shotgun in the spread formation. Kelly Stauffer takes a look, throws an out pattern too much on it. It is intercepted by Los Angeles, and the Ram returner has room to go. Michael Stewart, who recovered the first fumble of the game, takes it downfield to the 48-yard line. Coming in to spell injured Vince Newsom. Michael Stewart having a career game. A fumble recovery early in the game that led to the first touchdown for the Rams, and now a truly spectacular interception.
Ball was intended for Paul Scansey. There's lots of motion here underneath the linebackers. You see the crossing pattern. I take it back. That ball is intended for John L. Williams. 32. Good blocking out front. Stewart, fumble recovery, and now an interception and a drive wasted by the Seattle Seahawks.
Stewart intercepts. He knows what to do with it. Don Criqui with Bob Trumpy as the Rams go on offense now. Pitch back. The old flea flicker. Everett looking for somebody to throw to. What a gun on this guy. Gets it out to Ellard, and he makes the reception for a first down. Boy, I tell you, Everett's the real thing, isn't he?
16 yards on the completion. That was originally intended for Aaron Cox. But the Seattle defense didn't buy it. And then once again, you see the maturity of Jim Everett, the presence. He did not panic. And Henry Ellard, who's turning out to be his favorite receiver, runs a nice little out, makes the reception. Melvin Jenkins on the sideline. I don't know what they're working on, but Melvin Jenkins is the man down.
Had a key play early, and remember that fumble he picked up and returned 40 yards. Here's a run now. Buford McGee takes the ball at the Seattle defense, and a 1st and 10 play. He rushes from the Seattle 38 down to about the 34.
Last couple of weeks, Jim Everett has been sensational. Today's 8 of 11 for 140 yards and a touchdown. So he's all that the Rams hoped he would be.
Absolutely exceptional, as we were pointing out. Through 7 games a year ago, he had 5 touchdown passes and 10 interceptions. Coming into today's game, he had 16 touchdown passes and 5 interceptions. Through 7 games, now TD pass today. Pitch back goes to Greg Bell on 2nd down and 6. He runs hard and gets the first down. Bell was viewed as a risky #1 choice when Buffalo picked him in the first round 5 years ago. He only played in 23 games at Notre Dame because of a series of injuries. Had a 1,000-yard season his first year at Buffalo, over 900 his second year. Was hurt most of last year for the Rams after that three-way trade that brought Dickerson to Indianapolis, Cornelius Bennett to Buffalo. Suffered a fractured left scapular.
Came into this game averaging 4.6 yards a carry. Now Charles White in the backfield.
On a first down and 10 play. Rams looking to extend their lead as Everett, with a lot of time, throws a hard ball downfield and very nearly picked off. And here is a flag inside the 5-yard line. Henry Ellard was the intended target, and a Seahawk player is down. There was a collision between two Seahawks.
Moyer, the free safety, and Terry Taylor. They were the two guys that collided, and I think Terry Taylor was the guy with the interference call.
Number 20, first down.
Terry Taylor, if he goes out there, fresh out of left quarterback's trump because Melvin Jenkins was hurt a bit ago.
That's a 22-yard penalty. Ellard on the slant. The man behind him is Terry Taylor. Looks like he does make contact, and it looks like Taylor gets hit right in the leg by Paul Moyer.
Taylor pointing to his left knee. So the Seahawks with problems on the scoreboard and a major injury problem early in this game. 7:27 to go first half. 17-3 LA Rams lead.
Terry Taylor being held to the sideline. He was the guy who was charged with the interference, and he and teammate Paul Moyer really tangle legs. Watch the knee of Moyer, left knee hit the left leg of Terry Taylor. And he's going to have a big frog on that calf, that's for sure. He goes to the sideline, get it rubbed down a little bit. It does not look as if anything is seriously wrong. We'll wait for the injury report from the sideline.
Does not look as if anything seriously good either when they carry him off. Now the Rams go to the pitch back, and Greg Bell runs the ball and takes it down to the 5-yard line. Here's another marker coming in. Back judge fired in from way off the play. Might be a personal foul of some kind. First and goal play from the 5-yard line.
Generally, when back judges throw the flag in, it's on the tight end, and it's generally holding. The flag is holding against the Rams. Now we got to find out if it's the tight end.
10 yards.
The tight end. Yep. That's his first and only responsibility. John Embry, 87 on the hold. Yeah, I never met a back judge I liked.
John Embry, first-year tight end from Colorado, called for the hold. So the Rams are positioned back now at the 15-yard line of Seattle. 7 minutes and 8 seconds left to go in the first half. The Rams have moved out to a 17-3 lead. 10 points in the first quarter, 7 in the second. Everett, that strong arm, fires another strike downfield to Ellard. The coverage looked like it was perfect, but Everett got it there in time. Patrick Hunter was covering on the play, and so the ball is advanced now back to about the 5-yard line where they were before the penalty.
You see, Don, when you have a strong-arm quarterback like Jim Everett, then the cushion that's allowable to defensive backs is reduced to about a foot. Now, you watch Patrick Hunter, who is very close to Henry Ellard, but the speed of that ball gets there before Patrick Hunter can slap his hand down there to try to knock the ball away. That's the strength of the arm. There is no substitute for that in the NFL.
Henry Ellard, who has led the Los Angeles Rams in receiving, as you see, for 5 straight seasons. He's now caught 25 passes in the last 3.5 games. Draw play, and it works well. Is heading for the end zone. It's Greg Bell. They rule he is not in, but he's very close. And it'll be 3rd down and goal from less than a yard away as the free safety, Eugene Robinson, saved a touchdown, if but only momentarily.
Rams caught the Seahawks in a defense with 2 extra defensive backs in. That's 6 defensive backs. They run the draw up the middle. An excellent job of blocking by Irv Pankey. And then Greg Bell, listed as a running back, plays like a fullback, just short of the touchdown.
Early report on Terry Taylor, a bruised hip. Don't know yet whether or not he'll return. Here's a handoff. Bell over the top as he did earlier for a touchdown. This time no signal. And that will bring up 4th and goal from inches away for the Rams.
Well, now if you're John Robinson, do you basically put an end to this football game and go for it on 4th down or go for the field goal. Bosworth makes the hit. Stops him right at the goal line. Robinson is saying, let's go for it. This is the knockout punch right here.
Looked like Bosworth made the hit with his bad shoulder. Sacrificing his body for love of the game. John Robinson sends his Rams out into a triple tight end formation now. Power set.
Robinson with great confidence now in his offense, and Everett doesn't like what he sees, takes the timeout. I don't think this is going to change Robinson's mind. A lot of times you see a quarterback take a timeout in these situations, go to the sideline, the field goal kicker comes on the field. I think John Robinson realizes Seahawks traveling, leading 17-3 in the second quarter. This is one to the chin, and it's a big one if they get it in.
Jets have now rallied and have taken a 13-10 lead over the Dolphins at Miami. Cleveland up on the Phoenix Cardinals 14-0 in the second quarter. Other two scores, Washington maintaining a 3-point lead over the Packers. Colts doing the same over San Diego. The Rams down close, and Chuck Knox, who in 5 seasons coached the Los Angeles Rams to 5 straight NFC Western titles, then felt he would be fired by Carroll Rosenblum. This in his new book, Hard Knocks, said he was going to get out of there before they could cashier him.
And this is Chuck Knox's worst nightmare. The thing that they do not want to have to do is put Kelly Stoffer in a situation where he's got to throw every down. A score here by the Rams, that's basically what the Seattle Seahawks have to do.
A 4th down play. Everett swings it out. Man is wide open for a touchdown. Coming up with the reception is Damone Johnson. And so on 4th and goal, Jim Everett. Play fakes, holds the linebackers at Damone Johnson, blocks and slides and runs a corner pad into the end zone. Nobody close. It was easy.
Very nice play action fake by the offensive line, by the running backs who sold the dive, and the quarterback. And Damone Johnson out in the flat looked like the closest man in coverage with Brian Bosworth, 55.
Extra point attempt coming up now as Lansford is right on again. With 4:34 to play in the first half, the Rams extend their lead to 24-3.
Now the game plan changes completely. What the Rams do best is rush the passer. Once again, good play action fake. It holds Bosworth. 55 is the man who appears to be the man assigned to Damone Johnson. Everett with a nice little touch on the ball. See the way he turns around, hides that football. Excellent protection. Throws it off the back foot. You just try to, as a receiver, you hope you don't go blind as that ball gets there halfway. So now the Rams got this game where they want it. They can employ their pass rush, and they got to bet that Kelly Stoffer's got to put it up 46 times like he did last week.
Damone Johnson with his 23rd reception and his 3rd touchdown catch for the Rams.
Rams have made good on the 2 turnovers by the Seattle Seahawks. Scored touchdowns on both turnovers. This was that 66-yard drive that Seattle had. Stopped by the interception. This is the ensuing drive. And now 24-3. Rams lead in the first half.
Ram defense actually with 3 turnovers. Fumble recovery by Stewart. Interception by Owens. Interception by Stewart. And it is now a 24-3 lead with 4:34 to play. The Rams may very well have put the knockout punch on, but we'll see what Kelly Stoffer's got, because he's going to be throwing long and hard to try to get Seattle back in this game. Here's the kickoff. Bobby Joe Edmonds from Arkansas brings it back across the 10. And a penalty marker comes in as we could have an illegal block on the Seahawks return. Del Pino, who caught a 37-yard touchdown pass, again made the tackle on special teams. He definitely holds his roster spot, this Robert Del Pino.
The line
Green, meanwhile, is inactive.
The line in the NFL is the more you can do. I mean, if you find a broom and you're a rookie, you put it to use.
That's it.
Flag against Seattle. Once again, this is the second time now Seattle has started a drive inside their 20 as a result of a penalty on a kickoff return. There's Steve Moore, the offensive coordinator, right there next to Chuck Knox, going over that game plan. That game plan is now get the ball down the field, which is not Seattle's type of offense.
Gaston Green, who we mentioned, UCLA's all-time leading rusher, is injured right now. Has only 97 yards rushing in the first 7 games. And here's Kurt Warner looking for room to run as they try to keep a mad dog pass rush away from Kelly Stauffer by going to the run.
Rams will give him that play for the rest of the game.
That's right. Up 24-3.
See what that last score has basically done now is eventually it's going to take Kurt Warner out of the game. He's an excellent receiver, but his biggest attribute to the Seahawks is running the football, and you've just given him up, trailing 24-3.
Spread formation. Stauffer with 2 wide outs to the left. He has yet to make a connection with Largent, who has 159 straight games. No sooner said than Largent catches a ball on 2nd down and 6. Good for maybe a first down. We'll see where they spot it. They spot it at the 21. It's a first down for the Seahawks as Largent now extends his record consecutive game streak to 160 with catches.
Carl Eckern makes the tackle. The other problem that Seattle is going to have is now the Rams can go to a zone defense, and you'll find most of the receptions are made when the receivers are stopped or turning back and facing the quarterback. So it's very difficult to get a big play against this zone defense of the Rams.
Seahawks trying to avert an NFC West trifecta. They've already lost to the 49ers in New Orleans. Hand off to Kurt Warner. First down carry out to the 25-yard line, and again a penalty comes from off the play. This time the referee Ben Bryce fired it in. Man in the white hat. Got a defensive holding call.
He's got a hand to the face mask, I believe, by one of the Ram
99
defenders.
on a defense, hand in a face mask, pushing at the 10-yard penalty. First down.
Called it on
Alvin Wright. Alvin Wright was not a heralded football player coming out of Jacksonville State in Alabama. He was drafted in the 14th round by the Birmingham Stallions of the U.S. Football League, and here he is starting in the NFL. Alvin had something.
That's a checkered past. 14th round of the Birmingham Stallions. That is not a high draft pick we're talking about here.
Into the Rams as a free agent, but now he's playing ahead of Meisner as the nose tackle. Very tough. Alvin Wright, 280 pounds, playing right up on Grant Fiesel. Stauffer takes a look, swings it out nicely. With the ball is Warner down the far sideline on a first down play. He's across the 35-yard line. Fred Strickland, highly regarded first-year linebacker from Purdue, made the knock out of bounds. 53.
You see that the Rams have gone to their conservative defense, staying with the 34, and the 2 zones they use almost exclusively in this defense now is simply a strong zone and a weak zone. That is, they either rotate to the weak side of the formation or the strong side of the formation. They are not going to allow a big play. They'll give them the 8, 10, 12-yard receptions.
Let's see what they give him now on 2nd down and 3. Stauffer goes to the run, and John L. Williams is cut down short. Brings up 3rd and less than a yard. Alvin Wright, the nose tackle, slid off and made the stop. Game clock winding down to close to the 2-minute warning. 2 minutes and 24 seconds to play in the first half. Rams in command 24-3. They opened up with a 10-0 advantage, scored 2 more touchdowns in the second half, or the second quarter, as the Seahawks have turned the ball over in this game 3 times, and 2 have been converted to scores.
Tommy Agee now in the ball game for the Seahawks. Good receiver out of the backfield, and they're not going to get the play off before the 2-minute warning.
So the 2-minute warning is given, and Seattle Seahawks are well warned. They're in deep trouble at the moment. The Rams with reason to dance. They're up 24-3. These are the times that age a veteran coach like Chuck Knox. He has a rookie quarterback in there. He's only his 4th start. He's in a must-pass situation.
Yeah, I wonder exactly what Seattle's going to do. I don't think they have game plan B for Kelly Stauffer here.
Rams are signaling they might have the ball, as the Seahawks on a perfect day in Southern California are living a first-half nightmare. Minute and 45 seconds to play in the half, and the Rams are up 24-3. But even coming out of here with a defeat, the Seahawks will still have a share of first place in the AFC West. Denver's already been beaten today, and so have the Raiders.
But the tough choice that Seattle now faces, you want the education of Kelly Stoffer to continue. I mean, you want him to learn, because I think he's going to be the future quarterback for a lot of years for the Seattle Seahawks. But at the same time, you don't want to have him totally abused by a Ram defense. That is, give up a lot of sacks, throw a lot of interceptions. You see the 2 interceptions, both have resulted in scores, one for a touchdown. The fumble recovery also resulted in a touchdown for the Rams. So the yards by Warner, the Rams are more than willing to give. 4th down and inches.
Have to go for it. Second back through. Over the top goes Kurt Warner, and he has a first down for Seattle. The veteran starter for the Seattle Seahawks, David Craig, who went out with a shoulder injury, is still about 2 weeks away from returning. John Robinson, the Rams coach, you see walking the sideline, said after he looked at films of Stoffer in action last week, he's not going to give this job up. He's going to be in there till the 21st century.
Well, Dave Craig should be healthy in a week or two. Here's one of Seattle's problems so far today. Their longest reception is 11 yards. The Rams have had plenty of big plays to this point.
On 1st and 10, they go from the shotgun. Here comes Kevin Green rushing hard. A throw in the flat. John L. Williams makes the reception, but it's good for only a 5-yard gain. And the game clock now winding down inside 40 seconds to play in the first half. Seahawks get a timeout call with 42 ticks left on the clock. And the Rams continue to lead the game 24-3. We're back and set to go now with 42 seconds left to play in the first half. The Rams on defense lead the game 24-3. Stoffer, a first-year quarterback from Colorado State, forced to a deep throw position now, 2nd and long, as he stands in, takes a look. The big rush comes, and he releases the ball to nowhere, grounds it. He can do that.
Now they're going to call that a sack.
In the grass. Yeah, they got him in the grass before he got rid of it.
Gary Jeter, 77, who made the tackle, and that's pressure from the outside. This is what the Seahawks did not want to have this game deteriorate to, where you got to worry about this pass rush on every down. Now, Jeter comes from the outside, and the throw is made to intentionally ground it, but he's already sacked, so they count the sack. Makes it 3rd down at about 15.
Not talked about a lot, but the #1 assignment of a National Football League referee who stands back there with him, the lead official, is to protect the quarterback. Here is a throw and a catch by Largent, who quickly signals a timeout with 6 seconds left. And a penalty marker down front in the backfield of the Seahawks.
I believe that's going to be against the Seahawks. I think they got Ron Mattis holding. The play is coming back.
Best pass catch combination today for the Seahawks is negated by the penalty.
That's a holding, 10 yards, 3rd down.
Yeah, it's against Mattis. This is that you mentioned earlier, that turn the dogs loose pass rush by the Los Angeles Rams. That last sack by Gary Jeter, the 39th of the season. And this is not what Chuck Knox and his offensive coaches threw up on the board this week in Seattle.
This on a weekend when he's being celebrated at his college, Juniata College in Pennsylvania, naming their football field the Chuck Knox Field.
He'd like to be playing there today as opposed to here.
Like the title of his book, it's been a hard Knox day.
And it's a long way from being over.
24-3 Los Angeles, last play of the half, and here's a ball downfield and almost into the hands of Mickey Sutton of the Rams, who'd still be running it. He caught it. 1 second left.
Mike Wilcher that time. Pressure on Kelly Stoffer. A 4-man rush. There's 2 defensive linemen and 2 linebackers. And it's now 4th down, 1 second to go. You leave your quarterback on the field and give it one big hope shot.
A defeat today would drop Seattle at the halfway checkpoint to a 4-4 record. Denver fell to 4-4, beaten badly today by the Steelers at Pittsburgh. The Raiders dropped to 3-5. They were beaten at New Orleans. Long ball by Stoffer, and that is a free football. Could be a pickoff. Incomplete. allowed out to end the first half. It was all Rams for 30 minutes. The Los Angeles Rams take a 24-3 lead to the halftime locker room. And Stauffer goes back to regroup. We'll be back after these messages from your local station. Halftime not close. Rams up 24-3. Don Criqui with Bob Trumpy here, and the Seahawks have contributed greatly to their own demise with a series of mistakes, Trump. They'll have to get over that if they're going to get back in.
You're right, and it started with the first offensive play by the Seattle Seahawks. Normally a very, very sure-handed Kurt Warner turned the ball over for the Seahawks, and the Rams went in to score. When you're traveling on the road and playing in the NFL, you want things to go your way, but as you can see on this sweep, Kurt Warner has hit a little bit, but he really just loses control of the football. Michael Stewart picks it up. The Rams go in and score the first touchdown of the afternoon. And then, after a 66-yard drive, the Seahawks were looking good. Stauffer tries to throw it to a completely covered John L. Williams. Stewart, same guy in a fumble recovery, makes the interception. He runs it back 37 yards. And again, the Seattle Seahawks just hurt themselves. That was 66 yards. And then this is the haymaker, the left hook. 4th down and inches. John Robinson prefers the touchdown as opposed to the field goal. Now 24-3, and you put Seattle in a spot where if the Rams don't turn the ball over, if the Seahawks don't come up with some interceptions, I think the Seahawks are basically out of this football game.
Well, I don't think they're going to get a lot of chances to intercept because I don't think Everett's going to throw it a lot if he doesn't have to.
That may be true.
As we pointed out at the outset, the Seahawks came in wanting to run the ball to keep away from the strength of the Ram defense, which is the pass rush. And, of course, they've got a young quarterback. But now we've got nothing but problems for Seattle. We'll see what they have to do when we come back with the second half kickoff. But first, a word from the National Football League with the Rams in the lead 24-3. The table of miscues.
You really don't want to beat yourself in the NFL, Don. But as you can see in the first half, Seattle has done exactly that. The Rams haven't produced a great deal of offense, but then they haven't needed a great deal of offense. As you can see, the Seahawks had the ball for longer, but the turnovers are the big key in the first half.
This kickoff is sponsored by Budweiser, the king of beers. Norm Johnson into the ball for the Seattle Seahawks. Hits a high spinner downfield. That'll be taken at about the 5-yard line. Charles White runs it back and gets to the 21-yard line, and a penalty marker comes in. Darren Como was down to make the tackle for Seattle. Rob Delpino is the man who returned the kickoff. We'll see if it's a holding call against the Rams. Might set them back.
Another illegal block back by the Rams.
53, both illegal blocks, 10 yards, first down.
Down at halftime, you mentioned there shouldn't be many interceptions by Jim Everett because they're going to do nothing but run the ball. I agree with you. And with the size mismatch, the offensive line against the defensive line here, John Robinson couldn't have written on the board this week a better scenario than has happened here in the first half of this football game. Now the Seahawks have got to be very, very aggressive. Try to strip the ball right at the outset.
Greg Bell, the NFL touchdown leader with 11 for the season, 1 today in the backfield. He swings out now and gets a pass from Jim Everett. And he's quickly caught and knocked down by the nose tackle, Joe Nash. So there's a loss on the play as the Rams go from scrimmage to open the second half. Seattle took the opening kickoff of this game. On the first play from scrimmage, the Warner fumble came, and it was quickly turned into a Ram touchdown. They had only 14 yards to travel. Greg Bell got all 14, including the payoff rush from a yard out over the top. And they've extended the lead from there to 24-3. Here's Bell. Seahawks looking for the run, cut it down on a second down and 13 play. There's a gain of about 6. Tony Woods, a second-year outside linebacker, a former #1 draft choice from Pittsburgh, made the tackle.
Bell playing with a bruised shoulder, looked to the sideline for a little help, but I think John Robinson wants him in there. The other tailback is Charles White, he really doesn't have his legs yet from that month-long suspension, working himself back into shape.
Charles White, of course, was the National Football League rushing leader a season ago with almost 1,400 yards. Has gained only 46 yards so far this year. On 3rd down and 6, Everett lets it go long. A man has the defense beaten, but the ball hangs, and still Anderson comes down with it. Willie Anderson from UCLA, a first-year player, described by scouts as flawless on the long ball and fearless over the middle, comes down with a 51-yard bomb. And so Everett goes right back up top. The ball hung, but Anderson made the play.
Melvin Jenkins on the coverage. Chuck Knox is watching the replay on the big video board here at Anaheim Stadium. I don't know why he would put himself through that punishment. Ball well thrown by Jim Everett. Anderson does a great job to go up and catch it, nicknamed Flipper.
This is the first meeting ever between the Rams and the Seahawks at Anaheim. Overall in league play, the Rams are 3-0 against Seattle. They've beaten Seattle 5 times in this season. Here's another strike in the end zone. Wide open was another rookie, Aaron Cox. And Everett, who looks about as good as you can look, throwing strikes all over the field. First a 51-yarder, and now a 33-yarder. And the Seahawks are out of this ball game early in the 3rd quarter.
God, Jim Everett has now thrown 3 touchdown passes in 3 consecutive games. That one 32 yards to Aaron Cox. And Everett did a great job of avoiding the rush. Did you see him step away from, I think it was Alonzo Mitz? Still had the presence of mind to look downfield and make the completion.
As we mentioned earlier, Trump, Everett credits his quickness of foot this season to the loss of 12 pounds. He's playing at a lighter weight. He's 6'5", 212. Lansford, the barefoot kicker, has been perfect all day. He hits again to extend the Rams' lead to 31-3.
Now watch what happens to Jim Everett when he goes back to set up. I believe it's, who comes out? It's Tony Woods, 57, not 67, 57. Everett still with that strength of arm. Does not throw a very good spiral, but Cox continues the pattern. His 3rd touchdown throw of the day.
Today's game is brought to you by Dodge Cars and Trucks. On the street or off the road, it's the new spirit of Dodge. By Apple Computer, maker of Macintosh personal computers, giving you the power to be your best. And by the U.S. Army. Learn how to get an edge on life. Be all you can be.
Ready to go. Lansford kicks off after another Ram touchdown. Bobby Joe Edmonds takes it inside his 5-yard line. He's across the 15, and he is out to the 26-yard line, and 2 markers are down. It'd be illegal blocks or holding on the return.
That was an illegal block, and it was on Robert Del Pino, the guy who was trying to get down there to make the tackle. And I think they're going to call it on.
Number 52, illegal block, 10-yard first down.
M.L. Johnson, a linebacker.
M.L. Johnson. Don, the big problem that the Seahawks have had to this point with the turnovers, Kelly Stauffer has 10 completions. He has just 2 to wide receivers. Scansey caught 1, and Steve Largent caught 1. The other 8, the tight ends are running backs. So the Rams are doing a great job. Their cornerbacks not only supporting the run, but also great coverage on those outside receivers.
So M.L. Johnson gets caught illegally blocking kick return tackler Robert Del Pino. And now the Seahawks already in deep trouble. Start with the long field to go. 94 yards from the Ram end zone. Out throwing and throwing well as a completion out to Largent out to the 13-yard line. Linebacker Mark Giroux from the University of Washington was there to make the quick hit. Gain of about 6 on the play.
Dennis Mnuchin, our stat man, tell us that the longest pass that Kelly Stauffer has completed is 8 yards. And you find these receivers now, they're catching the ball standing still. If they want a big play, obviously, they got to catch the ball running. Have not been able to do that so far today.
Stauffer was the 6th player drafted overall in the first round in the 1987 draft, but he refused to sign with the Cardinals and sat out the year. Rights to him were subsequently traded to Seattle, where he signed a long-term, multi-million-dollar contract and has worked into the starting role because of an injury to David Craig. That'll be good for a first down as Jerry Gray makes the tackle on Kurt Warner, who got ahead for 4.5 and a first down.
Nice block up front by John L. Williams, 32, but these are yards that the Rams will more than happily give to the Seattle Seahawks. No problem whatsoever.
Largent at the top of your screen. Brian Blades running off the near flank. He's well covered on a bump and run. They try to go short, and they get it to Warner for a gain of only about 2 yards. Gary Gray, the cornerback, playing in zone coverage that time, stayed in and made the tackle on the back. Let the safety take the Blades, was running a deeper pattern.
Yeah, Blades had 8 catches last week for 145 yards, and Stauffer has not even thrown the ball his direction today, let alone has he not made a catch.
Jerry Gray, a fourth-year cornerback from Texas, has had a lot to do with that, the shutting down of Brian Blades. Jerry Gray was a Pro Bowl starter last January.
4 wide receivers now for Seattle. Shotgun.
On a 2nd and 8 play. Spread formation. Here's a swing pass. It goes to John L. Williams. He gets by 1 tackler and gets out to about the 28-yard line. Gain of about 6 yards on the play. It'll be 3rd down and 2 as Fred Strickland, rookie linebacker from Purdue, made the play. Coach Knox now in his 16th season as a head coach in the NFL.
Absolutely amazing that the Seattle Seahawks have never beaten the Los Angeles Rams, pre-regular or postseason play. Obviously, they've never faced each other in postseason play, but 5-0.
There was Steve Moore right next to him, the offensive coordinator and the quarterback coach for Seattle.
Blitz by the Rams.
Williams fights close but does not get the first down. He got out to the 29-yard line. So where do you go here, Trump, now? Down in the 3rd quarter, 31-3, with 4th down and about a foot to go. They're sending out the punting unit.
Well, I don't think you want to add insult to injury here. You see the blitz, and one guy that's been all over the place is Michael Stewart. Number 23, the safety there for the blitz. He stops John L. Williams. This is the first punt of the ball game for the Seahawks.
I'm not sure this is a good day to put the ball back in the hands of Jim Everett.
Well, I don't think you want to embarrass yourself by missing the 4th down here. Give the offense some rest. Rest of this game is a lot of tough choices for Chuck Knox.
Henry Allard is called on to return the punt. He turns the corner, heads for the 12th man, and goes out of bounds. Melvin Jenkins ran him out. So the Rams go back on offense. On a perfect day in Southern California, their play has been just about the same. Chuck Knox spent 10 years as an NFL assistant before he got the head coaching job with the Rams. His counterpart, John Robinson, was a college assistant for 15 years. 1 year with the Raiders before he went in as head coach at Southern California for 7 very successful seasons, then on to the Rams. Bosworth and Moyer make the tackle on Charles White. Rams huddling at their leisure. Scoreboard numbers all in their favor. It's 31-3 Los Angeles with 8:50 to go in the 3rd quarter. Charles going with that Darth Vader look. One more backs going to that. Two arms on the ball as a lot of Seahawks come hitting it. Buford McGee got the carry out to the 27-yard line.
The ball was pulled loose. Ball was pulled loose, but I think the officials are ruling that he was stopped. That's an interesting call.
Seahawks think they have it. Let's see if the official concurs.
It's their only chance, and Chuck Knox is signaling, go to the replay booth, go to the replay booth. You saw his hand signal. He's figured out what the officials are saying.
Well, if the replay booth shows, well, this is a great angle.
Buford McGee is the man on the carry, just a straight dive. See if we can see the ball get loose. Yeah, the ball is on the ground. You can see right between Buford McGee's legs. But now what the replay official must prove is, was his forward momentum stopped? We could look at this one forever.
Buford McGee did well to come out of that thing walking. Every guy in the Seattle defense got a shot at him.
Replay is Dixon Ullman, and they're going to let the play stand, I believe. No, I take it back. They're going to give the ball to the Seattle Seahawks.
Seahawk offense is out there. Our producer today for NBC Sports is David Dinkins Jr. Our director, John Gonzalez. The executive producer of NBC Sports is Michael Weissman. The coordinating producer of NFL football, Ted Nathanson. We're coming to you from Anaheim, California, where Chuck Knox and the Seahawks have a lot of ground to make up.
Umpire telling Ben Dreif what the replay. Now watch once again. Buford McGee gets the handoff, and it comes late, but you can see the laces of the football on the ground. Not yet, not yet when his legs spread. Now watch that ball drop. Almost like he's laying an egg. There's the ball. Going to the ground. There's the laces.
Now, if you'll check the field, we see a Ram offense coming back out.
Now, I think what the replay official said was that his forward progress was stopped. They're still huddling, though. I don't know that they've made the decision, the final decision yet.
They got a lot of guys changing places on the field.
Steve Largent gets in there and gives them a what to.
They talk about the old adage
when the ball was on the ground, so it goes back to the Rams.
The old adage, Trump, about playing them one at a time, because if you played two at a time, there'd be too many guys on the field. Now, we had two offenses and two defenses out there.
There's no question that this ball is loose, and Buford McGee is still up. Now, if you're a Seattle Seahawks fan, you're going to say there's no way his forward progress is stopped. There's the ball. Right down there between his legs. There's no question that ball is on the ground. But what the replay official must rule is whether or not his forward momentum had been stopped. And who, in fact, does come up with a recovery. Now, there's also no argument that the Seahawks came up with the ball.
Well, the righteous thing to do would be give it to Seattle, because they're out of the game at the moment.
Now they're trying to determine exactly where the ball should be placed.
That they might give Seattle a couple of scores to get.
You see, this part of the replay is a part that I believe should be looked into and handled better. Here's the back judge talking to Chuck Knox, and obviously Chuck Knox, if the Rams get the ball, he's not buying it. Whatever he's saying, don't talk to me, he's not buying it. John Robinson, smile on his face. He's looking at some real estate there, and he's even saying, not only did we keep the ball, but we got the first down.
John may be hard-pressed to be smiling next week. They have to travel into that Superdome where the Super Saints take on the Rams next Sunday. The Seahawks will be back in the Kingdome. Chuck Knox led his team ready to go against San Diego.
John is saying, hey, we'll take it anywhere. We don't care. You just put it down, put the first down where we'll go.
8:09 left to play. Third quarter. We got an early report that the whistle blew before the ball popped loose, and now we see that the Rams will maintain possession of the football. And they're 31-3 lead.
I didn't buy that whistle thing when they started using it 3 years ago. I'm not going to buy it now.
Fine.
But I do believe there's an argument that his momentum was stopped. Now, the Seahawks are going to strip the ball carrier as best they possibly can for the rest of the game.
First and 10, ready to run the ball. Are the Rams, or are they? Here's a long ball. They want it all. Heller ran an out pattern, and Everett, who can throw it from here to Santa Monica, threw the fly pattern.
Well, here to Santa Monica, son, is a per piece. But he can throw it. No question about that.
He was throwing it north. Finals earlier, Trumpy's old team, the Bengals, with their remarkable resurrection this year, leading with a 7-1 record in the AFC Central. Buffalo, another team with a turnabout with a 7-1 record after beating New England. Philadelphia, on a closing second touchdown pass by Cunningham, beat the Cowboys. And now the Rams looking to go to 5-3. As turning the corner is Charles White, knocked out of bounds. Actually, the Rams will go to 6-2 with a win today.
This is when a football game gets ugly. Frustration on both parts. White that time after he hit the sideline was shoved. Added on to the end of the play.
Late hit out of bounds, number 29. 15, that's a first down.
White goes to the sideline, and he's pretty much conceding, this is all I want, kids. I don't want any more. And then Dwayne Harper gives him a shove.
Rookie from South Carolina State. giving it his best shot for the cause, which is probably a futile one at this point. Rams 31, Seattle 3 with 7 minutes and 48 seconds to play in the third quarter. Jim Everett, the Ram quarterback. Look at this. The Jets, an underdog, have opened up a 30-10 lead on Miami at halftime. And the Pack has tied up Washington now. 3 Biasucci field goals have extended Indianapolis' lead. Here's a pitch back to Charles White. He's ahead on a first down carry out to the 49-yard line of Seattle. Jim Everett started today with a quarterback rating of 103.8, third best in the NFL. It's going to rise markedly this week as he now has 3 touchdown passes today, 19 for the season. No interceptions today, only 5 for the season.
He has 9 touchdown passes in his last 3 games, including this one. Brian Bosworth on the sideline, I guess, resting his shoulder.
Buford McGee takes it straight ahead on a 2nd down and 6 play, and he got ahead for a gain of about 4 yards. The Rams, with their big advantage, 31-3, content to run the ball with 6 minutes and 50 seconds to play in the third quarter. Seahawks going to back up defensive troops now. This Everett has shown an inclination to let it go long, even with the big lead.
Time for guys to earn their letter. When you trail 31-3 or you lead 31-3, you get some of those underclassmen in there, you know?
Right.
You may have to count on them later in the season or next year.
You also get some offensive plays you wouldn't get if they were in the same division and had to play again this year. Markers down all over as the pitch back went to Charles White.
False start, number 67. 5 yards, third down.
Duval Love, the right guard, was called for the illegal motion for Los Angeles. An excellent offensive line in front of Everett, and they've protected him well. And now into the 8th game of the season, he's been sacked but 13 times. I think that's the NFL low. I think they've got Marino more than that in Miami. Irv Pankey and Jackie Slater are the veteran tackles. Newberry and Love are the guards. Doug Smith, an excellent center. He's been to the Pro Bowl 4 the last 5 seasons. Everett lets it go. Oh, just broken up. Jenkins just tipped it away. Aaron Cox would still be running had he not gotten a piece of the ball. He was open and ready to go the distance.
Well, I'll tell you what, though, if Jenkins gets his hand on that football, that's got 6 points written all over it. Everett kind of lets his ball sail a little bit. Jenkins is able to cut underneath. Aaron Cox does a good job of making sure there is no interception. Rams' first punt of the day here, Don.
First punt for the Rams, only the second of the day. Seattle's booted it once. The scoreboard is all Los Angeles. It's 31-3 in the third quarter. 5:47 to play in the quarter. Rich Camarillo into punt. Hits it long. Spiral.
Flag on the play. They ran into the punter. Automatic first down for the... I take that back. They get 5 yards.
They can take a shot at him on that play because that's not enough to get him a first down. It'll be 4th and 2. They'll punt it again.
Dwayne Harper was the man that hit
Number
him.
23.
That is a rule change.
Not a first down.
John Robinson is saying we'll refuse the penalty. Now that's rare, but that's what this new rule change has created. It used to be anytime you made contact with the punter and you were the one that ran into the punter, then it was an automatic first down. Now just a 5-yard penalty. The Rams refuse it. Seattle gets the ball at their own 16.
5:39 to play. Rams lead 31-3.
Seahawks ball. Let me correct myself. I said Dwayne Harper ran into the punter. Actually, it was Patrick Hunter who ran into the punter. So Seattle has the ball. Shovel pass.
Shuffle pass it is, and running in the open field is John L. Williams, but low. There's another yellow flag down at the line of scrimmage, and a Ram is signaling holding against Seattle. Michael Stewart finally runs him out of bounds and almost
without fail every time the Seahawks come up with a big play. That of 35-yard complete
Offensive
pass.
holding number 54. 10-yard penalty.
Brings
First
it back.
down.
If they ever place another time capsule into the earth at the Seattle World's Fair site, tape of this game will not be in it.
I think they got Grant Fiesel on the hold. Number 54, 8 for 98. My goodness, no stat has looked good today for the Seattle Seahawks, and no part of this game has looked good.
The weather about as good as it gets. Mid-70s, cloudless skies, no wind, perfect playing conditions, and the Rams have benefited more by Seattle mistakes than by the good climate in Southern California, as Los Angeles has opened up a 31-3 lead. Stauffer from the end zone fires a hard ball out, taken down nicely by Williams out to the 14-yard line. But it came on a 1st and 18 play. Next Sunday, join NBC Sports for another week of exciting football action beginning at 12:30 Eastern with NFL Live. Then the Dogs will be barking at Cleveland Stadium as Boomer Esiason and the 7-1 Cincinnati Bengals come to town to go against Bernie Kosar and the Browns. A crucial AFC Central Division showdown, plus regional action. Check local listings for the game and time in your area. Now Stauffer on 2nd down and 11. Sets in the shotgun and fades to his 12. Here's a throw and a catch. Down with the ball is Scansey, and he's ahead for a first down. Well done by the veteran wide receiver, Paul Scansey. James Washington knocked him out of bounds, but the Seahawks do convert a first down. But 4:46 to play in the third quarter. They're down 31-3.
One thing I could say about Kelly Stauffer, keeping his composure, throws the ball very, very hard. Good tight spiral on it. That's a nice, easy ball for the receivers to catch, and that was the longest pass completion of the day by the Seahawks, 12 yards.
Seattle having trouble converting third downs this year when they were number 1 in the NFL last season. Here is a misconnection and the snap again. Gary Jeter goes back and pats Stauffer on the shoulder.
That's going to be against the offense. Stauffer called it on one number, told everybody else another number. Fiesel didn't snap it, and the offense was moving all over the place. So that's the 10th penalty against the Seahawks so far today. Normally the Seahawks are very, very conservative.
False
very
start
well
on the
coached.
offense. 5-yard penalty.
And it's also a team that makes very few mistakes under normal circumstances, but the last 2 weeks they've made them.
Interesting year for Seattle. They started off with a very impressive win on the road at Denver, 21-14. Came back and blew out Kansas City, and suffered successive losses at San Diego and to San Francisco. Came back to beat Atlanta and then beat Cleveland, then lost by a point to New Orleans. Today, their longest day of the season, as the swing pass comes out. Here's another penalty marker.
And lost to San Diego, John. A devastating loss.
That
and of
really
course,
was.
last week, a game they should have won, could have won, they let get away at the loss to New Orleans. Kevin Green, the linebacker, he's on Mike Wilson. This is a little screen that Green plays very, very well. Stauffer still able to get the ball to John L. Williams, and I think John L. Williams...
91, personal foul, hit the man out of bounds. 15, that's a first down.
Yeah, but you know what they missed? It looked like John L. Williams grabbed a hold of the face mask of the tackler.
Somebody illegally blocked the photographer. Big Markov sets the ball all the way out to the 37-yard line.
Don, watch this once again. When John L. Williams, see the defensive back, he grabs a hold of his face mask or puts his hand right in the face mask. That's illegal. But then Kevin Green shoved John L. Williams out of bounds, and the Rams are penalized.
Anaheim Stadium holds almost 70,000 for football and is just about packed. Rams leading 31-3. 4:23 to go third quarter. To the run go the Seahawks on first down, and Kurt Warner doesn't get much but a load of left end Doug Reed. Doug Reed, Alvin Wright, and Sean Miller across the defensive front. Jets now with a 30-17 advantage over Miami. It was 30-10 at halftime. Cleveland holding to a 6-point advantage over Phoenix. Bernie Kosar came back today and threw for the first touchdown of the day for Cleveland. Green Bay, loser of 5 straight, many by lopsided scores, now comes back on consecutive weeks to win going away against New England. Won again last Sunday, and now they've come from behind to lead Washington. Beat Minnesota badly last week, did the Packers. Here's a straight-ahead run when there's nobody there on a 2nd down and 10 play. And Stauffer's ahead to the 42-yard line. Leroy Irvin and James Washington knocked him down.
Did not look too swift of foot there. Kind of fell over himself a little bit. Last week, Seattle ran a couple of quarterback draws. It looks like Kelly Stauffer is going to be a lot better quarterback if he stays in the pocket. If they have to rely on his running, then they're going to be in a game where they're down 31-3 in the 3rd quarter.
3rd down and 6 for Stauffer, out of the shotgun, looking deep. That's a go. He had an open Largent running a crossing pattern, but didn't see him as the defense came to whack him just as he released the ball. Meisner was in to make the hit. Greg Meisner, a pass rusher.
Nice little game right up front by the Los Angeles Rams. You can see him twisting right at the outset, and then Stauffer tries to set up. He can't really finish because Meisner's right there in his rib cage. That's why they pay those guys all the money they make, and it ain't enough.
But in most cases in this day and age, it ain't bad. Leroy Irvin back deep now as the punt comes. It is hit downfield by Rodriguez. Leroy Irvin steps under it and fair catches the ball at the 27-yard line of the Rams. And with 2:57 left to play in the 3rd quarter, the Rams will take over the ball 1st and 10, leading the game 31-3 over the Seattle Seahawks. A little lady, perhaps a Seahawks fan, making a silent statement on what she's seen today. Not too exhilarating for the Hawk fan.
I have a feeling she's been asleep for quite a while, too.
We have 2:57 to go in the 3rd quarter. It's 31-3. The Rams are in the lead. Everett play fakes, takes a look long, fires downfield, makes the connection with Aaron Cox. He's a fine-looking rookie from Dorsey High School in Los Angeles and Arizona State. First-year player.
18 yards on the pickup. Well done.
One scored on a 95-yard scoring play against USC. Next Saturday, join NBC Sports World for one of the most thrilling events in the sport of kings, the 1988 Breeders' Cup Steeplechase. This $250,000 race is the richest event of its kind in the world, and with the challenging grounds of Fair Hill Racecourse in Maryland, it's definitely a test of great horsepower. One of the signal events in thoroughbred racing, the Breeders' Cup on NBC Sports. Next Saturday, it's the steeplechase. Charles White gets the call on a 1st down carry, and he is ahead for about 3 yards. Darren Como made the stop.
Charles White, after that month's suspension, now has been used in the past primarily as a pass receiver or a pass protector for Jim Everett. Now he gets a chance to get his legs back, get some game experience when this one's basically out of reach.
Charles White, a comeback story.
More than once.
Buford McGee gets the run. Crosses midfield on a 2nd down and 6 play. Won the 1979 Heisman Trophy to Charles White. Was a fair prospect coming out of high school in Los Angeles. He averaged 9.5 yards a carry.
When he went to Cleveland, of course, he tore up his ankle, his Achilles tendon, came back, was released, and then came out here to the Rams and was the NFL's leading rusher last year. He's definitely had an up-and-down career.
Everybody hoping he can keep it together. He's a terrific guy. He and his wife, Judy, the parents of 6 children. Of course, last year was his great comeback story when he rallied to lead the league in rushing. Charles White gets the call again on 3rd and short. He lunges, and on the toss play, gets ahead for a 1st down. That was the toss play that Eric Dickerson made famous here with the Rams.
The only difference, of course, is that Greg Bell and Charles White don't line up 8 yards deep in the offensive backfield. They don't have the foot speed that Eric Dickerson.
That was the amazing thing about Dickerson. He had to run 8 yards just to get even.
And those are the the little adjustments that John Robinson and his offensive coaches have made to this offense when Dickerson left that have really produced a very solid offense once again. Last week, they get beat by San Francisco, but it took a 190-yard rushing performance by Roger Craig to beat him. Neil Lomax beat him, and he beat him by throwing for close to 400 yards. This is one of the finest teams you'll find in the NFL.
White running hard, and Charles White looking in good form on a first down carry. Runs the ball down to the 29-yard line of Seattle. So White rips off a 10-yard gainer.
Bruce Schultz finally makes the tackle. White does a great job of cutting back here. Again, the toss sweep. John Robinson started running that when he was the head coach at USC. And White waits for the block, cuts back inside. Very close to a 10-yard pickup.
Going to be about 6 inches short. So it gives Everett a nice play call. Second down and a very short. The backup to Jim Everett's another Purdue quarterback, Mark Herman. Look what the Rams have done on first down today, Trump.
That's why they're winning. That and the turnovers. Very obvious. The clock is going to expire here to the end of the third quarter, but Rams' first down yardage, both running and passing, really devastated the Seahawks.
So the Rams, with another touchdown in the third quarter, extend their halftime lead to where it now stands at 31-3. And we'll be right back after these messages from your local station.
Rams are obviously going to win this game, but if they lose this guy in the meantime, it's a tremendous loss. Tom Newberry just had his knee checked by Dr. Robert Curlin, the Rams orthopedic surgeon. Looks like he's definitely out for the rest of the game.
Second and short. Handoff goes to Del Pino, who caught a 37-yard touchdown pass in the first half. The rookie from Missouri. Grew up in Dodge City, Kansas. There with Wyatt Earp.
At this point, the Rams have offensively owned this game. You just saw their numbers on first down. Time of possession very misleading. 348 yards by the Rams. The 3 turnovers in the first half. The big key for the Rams to put this game out of reach.
Oftentimes, there's very few things in this world of less significance than time of possession. Particularly today. When you get it fast like these guys have got it,
too long.
Somebody got a souvenir on the one hop.
He's probably not going to have it for long.
Aaron Cox ran the fly pattern. Everett long out of the end zone. Patrick Hunter was running stride for stride with him. We have 14:15 left to play in the fourth quarter. Jim Everett played high school football in Albuquerque, New Mexico, where he was also, in addition to being a standout quarterback, an all-state safety. And he went to Purdue, where he set 3 NCAA single-season passing records. Became the third player picked in the 1986 draft. And Bo Jackson, who was picked by Tampa Bay, and Tony Casillas, who was picked by Atlanta. Charles White keeps it inbounds on a first down carry. White's down to the 26-yard line. David Wyman on the stop.
Now, see, I think the NFL ought to institute a rule that when you lead 31-3 for the rest of the game, especially in the fourth quarter, you are required by NFL rule to run the ball and stay in bounds. The team behind can do anything at once. The team ahead, just run it. Do not throw it. You think that'll pass?
Well, I think we're instituting that rule right now.
Okay, let's do that.
I think Coach Robinson put that in him before you said it. 13:35 to play. Everett with 3rd and 3 coming up. Charles White in the backfield with Del Pino. Cox running a fly. Up the middle they go. Penalty markers on an incomplete pass. This Cox is some weapon. Man. Can this kid run or what?
Robert Del Pino was the intended receiver. That time Paul Moyer, 21, came in the blitz. Flag down. Illegal procedure. Los Angeles. We got Newberry with a lateral strain of his left knee. There's the orthopedic surgeon, Robert Curlin.
Motion on the offense, 2 men moving at the same time. They declined the penalty. It's going to be 4th down.
If he can get up and walk on it, it's not a serious, real serious injury. put weight on it. It's the right leg that he is injured, as iced.
Rams want to tack some more on, and they have Lansford out to try a 43-yard field goal. He is 9 for 12 on field goal attempts this year. Block, and they'll be running with it. Goodbye. He's out of here on the run with the ball. Is a Seattle Seahawk. He's going to take it the distance. Vernon Dean, the sprinter, the former Washington Redskin. Brian Bosworth was the man who blocked it. And Vernon Dean, as the Rams try to pack on more points, instead get it shoved right back at them. 13-14 to play, and the Seahawks have their first touchdown of the day.
And it comes as a result of a blocked field goal. They had that happen to them last week. Pressure comes from a lot of different places. Brian Bosworth gets through there, gets his hand on it, ends up being a 63-yard blocked field goal return for a touchdown for the Seattle Seahawks.
So it happens fast. Ironically, it's the special teams, a defensive unit that's on the field for Seattle when they get their first touchdown of the day.
Holohan the holder. There's just too much penetration. Bosworth way in there, and he makes the block.
Extra point up, and good.
Delay before he takes the football, 5 yards.
Too much time on an extra point? Are you serious?
Apparently he is.
Let me have my book. I got to write that one down. This is a first. Again on the block, Rusty Tillman, the special teams coach of the Seattle Seahawks, never gives up on a play. Bosworth's penetration inside bounces perfectly to Vernon Dean 63 yards later. As you said, Don, Seattle's first touchdown.
Room service bounce.
Just the way you order it.
Extra point by Norm Johnson is up and good. A lot of time left, 13-14 to play. And it's now a 31-10 game. The Rams in command still.
Today's game is brought to you by Budweiser, Beechwood Aged for that clean, crisp taste. This Bud's for you. By Mazda and the exciting new Mazda cars and trucks for 1989. And by Delta Airlines. We love to fly, and it shows.
Special teams coach Rusty Tillman shouting instructions now. Could be an onside kick try by the Seattle Seahawks, who just scored after running back a blocked field goal attempt. There's the onside attempt. Damn, they got it.
No.
Yeah, I guess
No
he was
control.
out. Did not have control.
Just like a pass reception, Don, you've got to have control. Well executed by Norm Johnson. But that kick is out of bounds. Rams will get the ball at that spot.
Hands were on it, but the feet weren't in.
This is where you do not expect it on the onside kick. He does a great job. And they just can't get it before it goes out of bounds. It's Dwayne Harper who gets his hands on the ball. The replay is probably going to look at this to see if there's any possession.
Went out of bounds. That's a short free kick, 5-yard penalty, and they kick it again.
They make him kick it again.
Could go on for a while. That was a nice try, though.
Yes, it was.
13-10 left to play in the game.
Dwayne Harper almost got a hold of that ball. The only problem was Norm Johnson kicked it a little too hard. They had the Rams receiving team confused. You can see Rusty Tillman. That's what we wanted, and it didn't. This was right after the extra point. Rusty Tillman got them all together. Nice idea, almost perfectly executed.
They align again after the 5-yard penalty, back to the 30-yard line. Norm Johnson, the veteran kicker from UCLA.
Now the Rams put their hands team out there. Got 9 guys up within 15 yards of the 40-yard line. You can't try it again, though.
And they don't. A high spinning kickoff that's going to spin down into the hands of Charles White. And he is out to the 31-yard line, and there the Rams will go on offense, first down and 10, leading the game 31-10. Dwayne Harper was on the play. As we check the scoreboard, Jets now have extended their lead to 37-23. They went in as a big underdog to the Dolphins. Cleveland holding to a 6-point advantage over the Cardinals at Phoenix. Redskins and Packers tied up at Green Bay, and in the fourth quarter, Indianapolis holding to a 9-0 lead over San Diego. The next opponent of the Seahawks. San Diego goes to the Kingdome in Seattle next Sunday. Rams go to New Orleans next week. Downfield throw. Connection is made. That is Henry Ellard with another reception out to the 48-yard line. A 16-yard gain.
Patrick Hunter again on coverage, and this is the way the game began. The Rams throwing that out pattern that the Seahawks have had great difficulty covering all day long. Ellard,
Big
6
day.
catches now, 89 yards.
And Everett, a standout day also. 12.5 minutes to go. A first down coming up now for the Los Angeles Rams. Everett has thrown the ball 22 times, has hit 15 for 260 yards and 3 touchdowns. Charles White turns it up. Busts in the defense down to the Seattle 40-yard line. Goes hard running Charles White. A first down carry, good for a Los Angeles Rams first down. Backup linebackers in now for Seattle. Darren Como and M.L. Johnson combined on the stop. Charles White running well, Trump.
55 yards on 9 carries. Bosworth is out of the ball game, and the offensive line, even with Tom Newberry out, still doing a great job manhandling that Seattle Seahawks defensive line. They've just not been able to keep that corner. The Rams have gotten it almost all day long.
High set. White swings out of the backfield, gets a throw from Jim Everett. Nicely caught by Charles White. He's knocked out of bounds at the 40. Paul Moyer, number 21, strong safety for the Seahawks, made the stop.
White came out of USC primarily as a tailback. Hadn't really caught the ball much his entire career, but as you can see, he's a very talented athlete. Good body control, spins 360 degrees, makes the catch. For not much yards, but he does make the catch.
Backup quarterback for Seattle, Jeff Kemp. Could get some time here as a pitchback goes. Charles White again, coming on a second down and 10 play. He is ahead to the 33-yard line of the Seahawks where Darren Como knocked him down. So White looking to get back in game form, getting a lot of work here in the second half. With 11:10 to play, his team has been in command throughout. Seahawks were down 24-3 at halftime. They now trail the Rams 31-10.
Jeff Kemp is warming up on the sideline, but he's warming up with Kelly Stopper. I think of the two, you're pretty much going to stay with Kelly Stopper here because he's your quarterback of the future. Take him out now, I don't think anything is gained. You leave him in, he may get a long reception down the field. Something for him to build on.
They're down and 4, throw and a catch. To the tight end it goes, and Holohan gets down to the 27-yard line. Sure-handed tight end with his 24th catch of the year. He's been in the end zone twice. Gene Holohan was recruited to Notre Dame as a quarterback out of Liverpool, New York. The best hands on the team was switched to a wideout.
Bosworth on the sideline, resting his left shoulder that's been bothering him all season. He wants to play with it. It was probably senseless for him to be in there now, so Tom Catlin gets him out of the lineup. Maybe he'll feel a little fresher next week against San Diego.
Ellard in motion. Charles White with the run. Right at the defense. And Charles White takes a first down carry down to the 20-yard line of the Seahawks. Gain on the play of 7 yards before backup linebacker Darren Miller, a rookie from Tennessee, number 91, made the stop.
Don, the reason that play has worked all day long is Doug Smith, Duval Love, Robert Cox, the offensive line of the Los Angeles Rams have done a great job on the middle three, the nose tackle and the 2 inside linebackers. A lot of short traps have been very successful today for the Rams.
Offensive line, veteran, very much in sync. Another trap block now. If they go to a throw off it, taking the rumble. There's a free ball on the field. It does draw a crowd back at the 3-yard line, and it looks like Seattle has the ball.
Looked like Darren Miller came up with the ball. Ellard caught it.
It was a catch indeed, but lost possession, so it's a catch, a fumble, and a Seahawk recovery with 9:06 to play.
It is Darren Miller who comes up with the football.
Tony Woods also on the play.
Play action fake. He catches it. And then he gets absolutely hammered by Eugene Robinson. Ball loose, and it kind of bounces around there a little bit.
Looks like Tony Woods is the man who gets credit for the fumble recovery. Rams are in command, but the Seahawks are still battling. As here they strip the ball from Henry Ellard, and Tony Woods comes in, number 57, and gets the fumble recovery.
Yeah, but this is pretty much an indication of the day. Seahawks get the ball, but they start at their own 4-yard line.
From the end zone, Stauffer lets a long ball go, and it's going to be intercepted by Jerry Gray, and he's not done. And now they're ruling he's down. So again, we have back-to-back turnovers, something we had earlier in the game. We've seen it all, and it all hasn't been good for the Seattle Seahawks. As Stauffer let the long ball go, and it was picked off by the Los Angeles Rams. So where do you go from here, Mr. Trump? You've been on the short end of some of these long scores.
You try to go straight to the plane. If you're the head coach, you try to consider maybe we won't show the highlights of this game or the film of this game next week. There's very little good that Seattle Seahawks have done. And, of course, when in desperation you begin to throw the ball deep, a young quarterback is going to turn the ball over like that. I think the one thing Seattle has to come out of this game with is a feeling that Kelly Stouffer is still the quarterback of the future, still a quarterback they can go to. So they can't just turn him loose on those long passes.
Well, we know he can throw it a long way. That was way downfield. And here is a give straight up the middle, and Robert Del Pino, a rookie runner, takes it to the 46-yard line. Here is Kelly Stauffer dropping back. I'll tell you, the Rams are very good defenders. Perfect coverage, and it's picked off. Running back with the ball for the Los Angeles Rams was Anthony Newman, actually. It wasn't Gray. Newman, the rookie, was in there and got it.
Well, the one thing the Seahawks have had real trouble doing all day long is getting the ball to their wide receivers. And once again, an attempt way down the field, and this time it's intercepted.
So on second down and short, handoff again to Charles White. Hitting hard, and the Seahawks come hitting perhaps a bit late. No flag. Charles White on a second down and short play gained 10 yards and a first down.
Eugene Robinson on the tackle. Charles White approaching 100 yards, 12 carries, 77 yards on the afternoon.
Dorsett of the Broncos, who wears one of those sun visors, says the defense can't look at your eyes and see where you're heading.
Also keep the fingers out of the eyes.
Yeah, that's
right. Scrapes and scratches on the face. And it's harder to grab the face mask, too, so it helps in that fashion.
White on 1st and 10 doesn't get much. His 13th carry of the day for no gain, but he has 77 yards on the day.
And I'll tell you another thing about those shields that players wear on their helmets like Charles White does. One game for a running back, and that thing is shot. That thing will look like it's been out in traffic. Scraped and scratched, and it's got dings in it. You can't see through it.
You take a look at a linebacker's helmet after the game. Most of them are sprayed every week.
Some of them come off with face masks that are bent in shapes that they can't even get the helmet on or off. These guys are nuclear powered nowadays in the NFL.
Put on hits, they have those backs looking out the ear hole of the helmet.
And those guys stay in the game. They carry it the next time. They don't even leave the field.
Next Saturday, NBC's Golf Tour 88 will be in sunny Orlando, Florida for live final round coverage of the Walt Disney World Oldsmobile Classic. 1987 Player of the Year Paul Azinger and Fuzzy Zeller lead the field of golfing greats scheduled to compete. That's next Saturday on NBC Sports. The Walt Disney World Classic final round. Here in Anaheim, we're in the shadow of Disneyland. Wasn't what Kelly Stauffer, who you just saw on the sideline, was expecting. At least the ball game. And now the throw off the flank as a catch is made down to the 25-yard line by Willie Anderson. Second-round draft choice out of UCLA with 2 exceptional catches today. Melvin Jenkins made the stop. The Rams get a first down with the clock running and 5 minutes and 35 seconds left to play.
Don, there is very little the Rams have tried today that has not worked. The slant pass because of the soft coverage by the cornerbacks. Willie Anderson watching the big screen TV. He's watching that catch and likes what he sees. The running of the Los Angeles Rams has been just the way John Robinson would draw it up on the board you hope for. Everything has gone right for the Rams today.
They'll make the turn to the second half of the season with a 6-2 record. They go back to the run. Del Pino, the rookie, takes it straight ahead. A lot of pro scouts had him projected as high as a second-round draft choice. In some of the combine workouts, Del Pino did not show blazing speed, and he wasn't taken until the 5th round. But he's played like a first-rounder.
He plays on every special team. One of their leading tacklers on the special teams. An excellent blocker. A fine receiver. We already saw that on the touchdown catch in the first quarter. You can find places like that on your team, whether he's got foot speed or not.
Wide to the left is Michael Young. Anderson off the right flank as a penalty marker goes down, and Charles White takes it inside the 20, but the play has been whistled down.
I think we just talked about it. Robert Del Pino, I believe, left early.
Right tackle, false start.
Right tackle. Right tackle. It looked like Del Pino left early, too.
Well, as long as one does, they might as well do.
Sure. Robert Cox, number 72, left early. He's in for Jackie Slater.
Earlier today, the divisional leaders in New Orleans, the Saints, beat the Los Angeles Raiders 20-6. So the Saints make the turn at the halfway point of the season with a 7-1 record. And they'll have a 1-game lead over Los Angeles at day's end. The 49ers were also at 5-2 through 7 games. They'll play tomorrow night at Chicago. Here's a handoff going to Charles White. On second down and 11, he gets to the 21-yard line. This is an excellent division. The AFC West at the halfway point of the season will have co-leaders with 500 records. Denver and Seattle both will be 4-4. Wasn't that long ago when 4 of the 5 teams in the West were over 500, AFC West. We look at all the scores today. Giants came back to beat Atlanta. Buffalo goes to 7-1. A major story, Pittsburgh rising up to smash Denver today. Philadelphia on a closing second touchdown pass by Randall Cunningham edges Dallas. The Jets continue to lead the favored Dolphins, and now Phoenix has rallied to take the lead over Cleveland. Green Bay and Washington tied. David Wyman hollers and rolls down Charles White. Game clock down to 3 minutes in running. 31-10, the Los Angeles Rams in the lead. They led 10-0 after the first quarter. They led 24-3 at halftime. After 3 quarters, they had extended their lead to 31-3. Blocked field goal attempt and subsequent return by Vernon Dean to the Seahawks in the 4th quarter gave the Seahawks their first and only touchdown of the day, and that's how it stands now. It is 31-10 Rams.
Folks are leaving for the parking lot, and the reason they're leaving late is that you don't cook sushi, you see, so they don't have to leave early and late. The barbecue fumble by Holohan, touchback. Seattle ball at the 20.
You lost me on that sushi and departure story.
Well, normally in a 31-10 game, the home fans leave a little earlier than normal, but here on the West Coast, they all eat sushi. You don't have to cook it. You see, it's raw fish. They don't they don't like the barbecue, so they leave late and still have their post-game repast. You understand? Don't ask me tough questions. Just believe me. They don't leave here early.
But they are leaving, and with a smile on their faces, these Ram fans, as the Rams continue to dominate. This is Don Criqui with Bob Trumpy back at Anaheim Stadium. 2:25 left to play. The Seattle Seahawks trailing in the game 31-10, have just taken the ball back on a fumble recovery in the end zone. They come right out into the shotgun formation with Jeff Kemp at quarterback. He throws out of the backfield to John L. Williams. This is a backup runner in the game now as they go to Tommy Agee, a backup fullback. And the Seahawks also go to shock troops as the clock is running. This will take it down to the 2-minute warning, this play. They get the snap away as a penalty marker goes down, and Kemp throws on the run, makes a connection, running with the ball and moving well with it is rookie Tommy Kane. He's out to the 37-yard line. Penalty marker is down, though, and the clock is down to 1:54 to play in the game.
For those of you wondering, the 2-minute warning cannot take place until it's 2 minutes or less. So if you get the snap off at 2:01, then you're going to get the clock to stop after the play.
Illegal
This
motion.
flag is on.
As a 5-yard penalty in the second
So now
down.
we'll take the 2-minute warning.
2-minute warning.
2-minute warning is given, and we'll be back to Anaheim Stadium after this. This telecast is presented by authority of the National Football League, and it is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the Los Angeles Rams and the National Football League is prohibited. This game is the property of the National Football League, of the Seattle Seahawks and the Los Angeles Rams. All rights reserved.
I think, though, if you were the Seahawks and you had one to throw away, you'd be more than happy to give this one up.
This was Sam, and he might throw it back.
Yes, this is not a keeper.
1:54 to go. Jeff Kemp in the shotgun. Spread formation with wide receivers double to either side. Up the middle throw, the connection to Brian Blades, who had such a big day last week, the second-round draft choice out of Miami. That's his first catch today. 21st of the season. Caught 8 balls for 145 yards and a touchdown versus New Orleans. Kemp fires another strike as the Rams are in a deep zone coverage. This to Scansey. It's good for a first down. 1:31 to play.
Timeout taken by Seattle. The Rams now in their prevent defense. They'll give them those short receptions down the field. Let me tell you a story about this stadium. About 25 years ago, the left end zone used to be open. It used to be just a baseball stadium, and outside was a huge A with a halo over about 20 feet from the top. There you can see it just at the top. I was playing golf one day with Clyde Wright, who was a pitcher for the California Angels, and Jim Fregosi, who was managed in several places in Major League Baseball. And they were a little bit under the weather, made a bet. Clyde Wright said it could hit a golf ball through the A and above the halo, and Fregosi took him up on it. We came out here, he bribed his way in with the guard, stood at home plate, and the second shot went through the A and above the halo.
This has been after a dosage of adult beverages, or?
Several. A mega dose of adult beverages on their part, not mine.
No. Here comes Kemp on the run, crosses midfield, turns it up, and gets out of bounds. So Jeff Kemp with a chance to play, the 8-year veteran from Dartmouth. No touchdown throws this year and 4 interceptions for Jeff Kemp. Running well, a 21-yard gain.
The report card, Stouffer, not bad except for the 3 interceptions. One of the things that they liked about Kelly Stouffer is that he had not turned the ball over. He had not thrown the interceptions. Warner's yards came primarily in the first quarter. Everett was spectacular. His 3rd straight game with 3 touchdowns.
Jim Everett. Big time. Kemp out of the shotgun, deepens his drop, throws and connects. Tommy Kane, who played at Syracuse and was drafted in the 3rd round by Seattle, makes the play.
Now, there certainly should be no argument for those fans in Seattle as to who should start at quarterback next week. Kemp is playing against a prevent defense. The Rams are allowing those short completions. Kelly Stouffer, until Dave Craig gets back and healthy, I believe, should be the starting quarterback of this team.
Jeff Kemp slides to a halt, and 3 guys hit him anyway. He does call a timeout. The Seahawks have just one remaining and too much ground to make up. They're out of road as they're down 31-10. 51 ticks left on the clock here at Anaheim Stadium. Don Criqui with Bob Trumpy. The Los Angeles Rams have been in command throughout. They now hold to a 31-10 lead. And now it's time for the Most Valuable Player Award, sponsored by Budweiser. And today's MVP is quarterback Jim Everett from the Los Angeles Rams. Budweiser will make a contribution to the United Way on behalf of all the MVPs selected in today's games.
Thrown 9 touchdown passes in his last 3 games, including this one.
For the season, he has 19 touchdown passes, only 5 interceptions, and in 8 games he's been sacked just 13 times. Now Kemp on a quarterback draw, takes it towards the goal line. Jeff Kemp's not down. Here's a penalty marker down. He goes into the end zone, but it might not go.
Another flag against Seattle.
26 yards into the end zone by Kemp.
Jeff Kemp now just learning the bad news. 41 seconds left to play.
The illegal block. The Seahawks will get the first down. It'll be from the spot of the foul.
The offense. That's a 10-yard penalty. From right there, let's see what it is if you get back 10.
To those viewers who have just watched us, joined us to watch The Goonies, please stay tuned. The Goonies program will be seen immediately following football, except for Mountain and Pacific time zone stations, where the program, The Goonies, will be seen at its regular time.
That's reassuring.
Except for Mountain and Pacific time zone stations. Coach Knox will rally his troops back to come to play another day. They'll be out in the King Dome, sold out, season ticket basis, with 29,000 on the waiting list.
They'll have that group from Alaska, too. Every weekend they travel to Seattle to watch him play.
Throwing a catch to Brian Blades. There's the comeback pattern. This time it's Jeff Kemp executing it. Hard thrown ball, and the ball is down to the 4-yard line with 34 seconds to play. Some of the headliners this week, Trump. Randall Cunningham, you see with a TD pass, 4 seconds left. Eagles beat Dallas. James Brooks gets 3 scores for your old team, even with a broken hand, as they beat Houston in a key game, 44-21. Carl Banks, 16-yard fumble return for a touchdown, helped the Giants rally to beat Atlanta. First down and goal with just seconds remaining, 34 ticks left. 31-10 Rams lead. Seahawks trying to score. An Auburn back runs and is driven back. Making the stop on the play was rookie linebacker Fred Strickland, number 53 from Purdue, who had a standout college career, including 22 tackles in 1 game against Notre Dame.
Seahawks out of timeout, so Jeff Kemp just throws the ball into the ground to give his team another chance.
Fifteen seconds left. So at the halfway point of the season, the NFC West, indeed a formidable division, with the New Orleans Saints off to a 7-1 start. The Rams will be 6-2 at day's end. 49ers looking to go to that mark. They're 5-2 heading into Chicago. That won't be easy.
No.
There. Out of this game, believe it or not, with a 4-4 record, yet as a first-place team in the AFC West. Incomplete at the end zone. Goal line throw. Coach John Robinson with the peaceful demeanor of a man whose team is cleaned up.
The only question John Robinson will have all day is whether Tom Newberry is hurt. Will he be able to play next week when they go to New Orleans to play the Saints, as you look at the scores?
Lions won 1 today. Every pro scouting combine says the #1 rated player in America right now is without question quarterback Troy Aikman of UCLA. He'll be the first player picked in April, is the way things are now. This is a free ball in the end zone, and it looks like the Rams got it back. Our thanks to spotters Jason Stein and Steve Richmond, and to our NBC statistician Dennis Mnuchin. Our producer today has been David Dinkins Jr. Our director, John Gonzalez. The executive producer of NBC Sports, Michael Weissman. The coordinating producer of NFL football, Ted Nathanson. Associate director, Ray Benassi.
It goes as an interception in the end zone. So the Rams get one more snap with 1 second to go. And Mark Herman comes in for the snap. Now this ball bounces off the official. Kemp is waiting, throws it. It stays in the air. Intercepted in the end zone. James Washington. Rams ball.
So that'll close it out. Our stage manager today, Francesca Bellini, as the game clock shows just 1 second to play. And the Los Angeles Rams will hold to a 31-10 count at the end. They put it away in truth early in the day. This is the don't make a mistake. Down goes the knee. Mark Herman gets a little time towards his letter, coming in for the last kneel down, and Coach Robinson heads off the field a winner again today, 6 of 8 times in the first half of the season. Old friend Chuck Knox. And that is the story from Anaheim. We'll return to Anaheim Stadium. This is Don Criqui with Bob Trumpy back at Anaheim Stadium, where the Los Angeles Rams took command early, capitalizing on Seattle mistakes, and went on to win the game 31-10. So the Rams are back in form after losing, Trump, their last 2 games at home.
Seattle could get very little going. Couldn't get the ball thrown down the field. On the other side of the coin, Jim Everett was spectacular. His 3rd straight game with 3 touchdowns.
Immediately following football coverage, we will present the Goonies program, except for Mountain and Pacific stations, where the program will be seen at its regular time. Now for Bob Trumpy, this is Don Criqui at Anaheim Stadium as winners tell jokes and losers say deal. Coach Robinson and quarterback Everett.
This has been a presentation of NBC Sports, the leader in innovative sports television.